Hello and welcome to Do Go On. My name is Matt Stewart and I'm joined, as always, by the very, very good co-host, Second Banana, Jess Perkins. Welcome, Jess.
Matt, what a pleasure to be here, as always. Playing Second Banana to your number one banana?
I'm not number one banana, no.
Okay.
Our guest this week will be number one banana. Jess, who have we got in the mystery seat?
We have got, for the very first time, and after many cursed attempts to get this person on the podcast, we have the incredibly funny, amazing writer, Dee Fidge.
Thank you so much for having me.
What an absolute pleasure to have you.
Such a pleasure to finally be here and to be first banana.
Yeah, number one. It's a big deal.
It's a big day for me.
Yeah, huge day.
I always wanted to be a banana, so here I am.
And you've gone straight to number one as well.
Straight to the top.
And it's not even like 10 a.m. and this is your day already.
Ready to go.
Wild, isn't it?
Pack it in. May
So
as well just go home.
Yeah, a little. I did mention that with this episode's been a little bit cursed before it's even happened.
So cursed.
Because we've tried, what do we reckon, 5-6 times?
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
We've each had COVID.
Yeah, everyone's had COVID.
On one of the times we were due to do it.
Yep.
I can't.
There was lockdowns as well.
Yeah,
I think.
Was it? Did we start trying last year? It was
Yes.
It was literally last year.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
That's amazing.
It's like 8 months we've been trying on and off.
And
yeah, because
quite
I had
honestly,
just moved into my new place, so it was like 8-9 months ago.
wow. Quite honestly, if I was in your position and a podcast I'd been invited to come on for nothing, for like there's no benefit to me at all, and it gets cancelled like 6 times, I would have given up.
Just to confirm, so I'm not getting paid for this.
No,
Is that what you're saying?
No. Nobody is.
Interesting.
No, we can talk about that.
I'm banana though. I'm number
Yeah,
one.
you're
banana.
number one.
Yeah, okay,
banana.
we can pay you in bananas.
Real ones or metaphorical ones?
What would you prefer?
Metaphorical.
Yeah, okay, great.
Thank you
Absolutely,
so much.
I can.
Big bag of fantasy bananas.
I can
Okay.
absolutely arrange that.
That's
no
not
problem.
Thank you so much.
not offensive to pay a banana with bananas. You okay with that?
Friends.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Friendship, you know.
Paying you in friends.
Yeah, I'm not going to eat them.
Okay.
No. They'll just
Not a
move in
cannibal.
with
You're
you.
going to move in with me.
Well, I hope your
right.
new place is pretty big.
Check it out, guys.
You got a lot of new bananas coming to stay.
I picture you living in the fruit bowl at home.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes. My entire house is just a bowl.
Big bowl.
It's pretty lonely in there at times.
Yeah, I bet it
I'm
would
pretty
be.
excited.
Wow.
Pretty hard to get out of sometimes, I would imagine as
It
well.
is a struggle. No
Yeah.
arms, no legs.
Yeah.
Just slipping around in there.
Just flopping about.
Yeah.
Be fun if you're a skateboarding banana.
Oh, yeah. That'd be sick.
Way to
Yeah.
bring up something I can't do, Matt.
Okay, well, I
Thanks.
didn't know.
Great.
I just was wondering if you could or you couldn't.
I can't.
Sorry to find out this way.
So am I. It's embarrassing.
It's not the kind of thing that you just assume you'd be good at. You've tried and failed.
Do I look like someone who'd be good at skateboarding?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, I reckon.
That is such a compliment.
Yeah.
You look like someone who'd be good at skateboarding.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, great.
Skateboard energy is a compliment. I would love to have. I don't think I have skateboard
That's the
energy.
best bit of being a skateboarder.
You're wearing skate shoes right
That's
now.
so true. I was just thinking that too. I'm wearing Vans. Yeah, that's true. Maybe I could skate.
Yeah, I assume you could.
Wow. Matt, do you want to explain to new listeners how this show works?
Sure. The way it works is one of the three of us, in this case Dee, goes away and researches a topic and then brings back that new knowledge in the form of a kind of an old school report and then delivers it like an oral presentation to the other two, in this case Jess and I. And we sit politely and listen and don't interrupt and do not go on tedious riffs and tangents.
Absolutely not.
Never.
Yeah.
Because we pay the report, give it too much respect,
That's
if
right.
anything.
That's
Maybe today that stops.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, we've given them too much respect for too long.
Okay.
I might try a little tediousness today.
You want to
You've
be a bit
never
of a...
interrupted before
No.
on the show. So
No.
maybe today you can be... Today's the day. Interject.
Normally we just sit quietly. It's weird that we even bother with the microphones.
It's weird that you guys are even there normally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
actually,
true.
when you think
It's
about
really
it.
more of a moral support thing, I think.
Well, that's fine.
All three of us feel a bit silly sitting in a room alone, so the others just sit there. I'm usually on my phone playing Tetris.
Yeah, great moral support.
yeah.
You know, when you look up and
Yawning.
you're just telling a life story and the person you're telling to is on Tetris.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's a great game.
It is a great
It's a really
game.
good game. Good for your brain. Just keeping my brain fresh forever.
Yeah, that is a fresh brain
Forever.
activity. And normally the topic's been suggested by a listener. I'll look it up because we know what this topic is.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
You
it's-
definitely do. I
'Cause
can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not.
No,
No,
we do. And normally there's a question to get on the topic. I don't know if you've got a question because we know the answer anyway. So I don't know if it would really be necessary.
What question are we posing?
Well, not like say if the topic was that water bottle, for instance. I'm pretty good at imagination, and the question might be, which famous green makes water bottles?
I see.
Okay.
I see.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love this. It's like
Because it
Jeopardy.
says Frank Green. I don't know if he's famous or not.
Well, I mean, pretty famous for making the water bottles.
Yeah, that one in particular.
And like a little coffee cup next to it. And
Yeah.
that's not that. I've got 2 other Frank Greens at home.
Jeez,
I've
you
got
love
too many Frank Greens.
I saw someone describe Frank Green as being something a basic person would have on Twitter yesterday.
100%. I am a basic bitch, and I think, and we've talked about this, I'm sure.
I had no idea.
But the idea of the things that people say are basic are just popular things, and it's usually that they're good. It's like avocado on toast, so basic. Yeah, it's fucking delicious. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and Frank Green, great quality products.
Great quality, keep your coffee hot and your water cold. What more do you fucking want in your life, you miserable fuck? Yeah, I'm a basic bitch. Sue me.
I think you're an angry bitch.
Basic and angry.
You can be both.
Yeah, I can be anything I want to be. Were you looking up to see who has suggested this
Oh,
topic?
thank you for reminding me why I opened
You'd
my
opened
computer.
this?
So I know who suggested the topic.
Oh, great.
Is it you?
It was me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's how this all started.
Yeah.
You messaged saying, "Oh, it'd be great if you did an episode on."
And I legit
This
was
topic.
not trying to say, put me on the podcast.
Yeah.
I should give you a little preamble. So during lockdown, I went and listened to all of your guys' back catalogue, and I swear it saved my sanity.
Wow.
I obviously went insane, as we all do, but not on account of your podcast.
Yeah.
But I had been listening so much, and I was like, this is great. They should do one on Diana. And I suggested it, and now here I am. So
Here you are.
That's the first time I
big
think
ego,
that's happened
really.
when someone suggested a topic and then done the topic. But,
yeah, that's true.
But people have suggested this as well as you. Dee, we've got Kayla Hodkowitz suggested it. Kayla from
Thank you, Kayla.
Toms River in New Jersey.
You're Joyzy.
Alex P from West Palm Beach, Florida.
Oh, great. Thank you.
She's big in America, apparently, Di. Rachel Johnson from Melbourne.
Thank you, Rachel.
Who else we got here? Zoe, also from Melbourne. Geez, Princess Di's big in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Well, there's 3 fans minimum that we've got there.
Don's Ronald from Sydney,
Don's
Australia.
Ronald.
Ronald? Is that a name or the name of a shop? Or
I think
That's great.
unless the shop suggested it, I think that's the name
love
of a
it.
person.
I wish my name was Don's Ronald.
Don's Ronald.
Don's Ronald. Let's say it again.
Dons, though. Like Dons. Not Don.
Plural.
Dons.
Double
Maybe
Don.
there's 2 of them.
Gotta be,
That's
yeah.
right. The plural of Don Roberts is Don's
Dons.
Robert. Is that his surname? I've
Ronalds.
forgotten. Ronalds. I got so focused on the Dons.
Distracted.
Crazy.
Dean Walker from Leicester in England. Who else have we got? Eric Cross from Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Nailing pronunciations.
Nathan from Leiden in the Netherlands. Geez, a lot of people suggested her.
Yeah, quite a popular topic and story, I think.
Chiara Gifford from Perth. Because I would have this all lined up. Sorry, I'm searching these one
He's
by
live
one.
searching in a doc.
Paul from Melbourne. There's now 4 of you.
Oh my God, we can form a gang.
Yeah, start a club.
How do you say that again? Is that Sean?
Kian.
Jeez, well done. Did you look at the Google search I just made?
No.
Oh, wow. That came up and you said it. I'm like, that was so fucking smooth. Kian Griffin from Cork in Ireland. Sorry, Dee, this won't go for much longer.
I love this, personally. I feel like I'm learning a lot about names.
And you're just finding people who have
places.
similar interests to you. So
Yeah,
that's
I'm
nice.
finding new friends.
Yeah.
And finally, Hussein Mehdi from Belgium.
Okay.
So
All these
a lot of
international requests. I love it.
Yeah. So the topic is, of course, Princess Di. You might know her as Princess Diana.
yes.
Or Diane. as
Or
Matt said
Diane, as
earlier.
Matt said.
Yeah, I forgot her name. I'm looking forward to hearing about Princess Diane.
Diane.
She seems
I'm
like
like,
a grouse Sheila.
It didn't sound quite right, and I couldn't put my finger on why.
Diane.
It's not her name, is it?
No, that's why it didn't sound right, because you said the wrong name.
Oh, the wrong
Is it
name.
because, like, does your mum get called Di?
Yeah.
And so then maybe you're just associating, like, Princess Di. Di is just linked to Diane for
Yeah.
you.
Do
Surely.
you call your mum Princess Di?
I do, yes.
sure?
That's so
That's
nice.
nice.
Call her Princess Di.
I will be
Respectful.
Yeah.
asking my kids to call me Princess Di. None of this mum bullshit. You can call me Princess Di or get
You
out.
pay me with the respect I deserve as a Princess
As a
Di.
princess, thank you very much. All right, Dee. Very
right.
excited.
Princess D.
Let's-
Princess Dee, take it away.
Thank you so much for saying that. I was waiting for someone to call me princess, and it started. So great. I wanted to start by asking what each of you would say your relationship is. You obviously, Matt, have never heard of this woman until today.
No, she's my mum.
Oh yeah, I'm actually doing a report about your mum.
Yeah.
When I say Princess Di, it's your mum.
Yeah.
But like, are you guys fans? Not a fan? Don't know anything?
Oh, I think I know, a fair bit. Bits and pieces.
Yeah, I watched The Crown,
Yeah,
so I
watched
know
The Crown.
Yes.
I know the bits she was on in
Watched
that,
other
Yeah.
films.
but I've forgotten
That
a lot
was
of it.
accurate as
Oh,
well.
was it?
by the
Great.
way, may I just say?
Oh, that's good to know.
That's good to know, actually, yeah.
I remember where I was the day she died.
What do you?
Yeah, at
Where were
home.
you? Okay, okay.
But I remember the Saints beat Port Adelaide that day to finish on top of the ladder.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was a day of mixed emotions for you.
No, it was all positive. Well, because I was mainly thinking about the footy. I don't think I understood, but you know how, like, at that point didn't know that when a celebrity died. I guess I was too young to realize how much it meant. Because even looking back now, like, I don't remember anything being that big when someone died.
How old were you? At the time?
I was in my hundreds, canonically.
Yeah. Canonically, he was a really old man.
So I'd say 300 and, teens, 300 and
310?
313 or something.
Yeah, difficult to remember much when you...
Yeah, well, no, I was
Yeah.
313, yeah.
313.
Yeah. I think I was about 7.
Yeah, I was 8.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So that's where I'm beginning the report with
At the death.
my experience
Okay.
of remembering.
Wow. Oh,
Because
love
I
it.
too remember
You were
the
watching the
day.
footy.
It was like a big... I was watching the footy with you. We were both together.
Yeah.
You didn't mention that.
Yeah. No, I thought I didn't want to steal your thunder.
No, so I grew up in Canada. So I don't know about like the time difference situation thing there, but it was the evening. It was about 7 p.m. I was 8 years old, and my sister and I were watching TV while our parents had gone for a quick walk.
That's cool you get the footy over in Canada.
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah, my
that's
mum's
good.
Australian, so she had it,
Yeah.
I don't know, streamed.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
probably had a
97,
stream. Yeah.
97.
She probably had the international pass.
Yeah, something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So my sister and I were watching TV, and a breaking news announcement came. I remember feeling really shocked, and for the first time in my 8 years of life, felt a sickening sense of unease. One that we now know with pandemics and 9/11. Let's bring up all the tragedies that have happened in our lifetime.
What about the Martin Square shooting? That was pretty bad, wasn't it?
Yeah, let's not do too much trauma
Okay.
in this podcast, despite what I just said.
I love how I just said that I was too young to really understand, and you're like, I was younger than that, and I
understood.
understood. I felt a sickening sense of unease.
It was a weird.
I hadn't heard those
big
words at that
feeling
point.
For me, I think because she was always on newspapers, right,
Yeah.
at the time, and so like I just knew her as this celebrity. And I remember bursting open the front door when Mum and Dad were coming up the driveway. And as they were walking up to the driveway, me and my sister were standing there in our pajamas screaming, "Princess Diana is dead."
We just wanted to go for a quick walk.
And just a few months later, my parents divorced.
Wow.
Another tragedy.
Oh my God. Do you think the two were connected?
Just kidding. They should have separated. It was the right thing to
Okay,
do.
Okay, yeah, right.
So,
Similar to Charles and Di.
100%.
Yeah.
So similar.
Yeah, okay.
Probably why I'm really
interesting.
drawn to this
Do
story.
you think that's what they were discussing on the walk?
Probably.
Yeah. If the walks were a
Diana.
new thing, Diana,
Yeah.
not
They're like, how
separating.
good is it that she's alive?
That's the
so
one
great.
thing keeping us together.
Yeah.
It's really going to keep this
Our
marriage
love
together.
for the much alive and full of life Princess
She
Di.
could not be more alive.
No.
Yeah.
And then bang.
Oh wow. Yeah, that'll break a couple.
So, look, a lot of people only really know about the tragedies of her life or the fact that she is dead. So I wanted to go through the story, obviously, about her life.
Famously dead.
She's
Famously dead.
She is famously dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of those ones where you know how sometimes people mention a celebrity and you go, are they alive?
Yeah.
I don't know. You know with Princess Di.
Yeah.
Oh,
Famously
yeah.
No
dead.
question. Famously dead.
Famously dead.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
always saying that to myself.
And famously with short hair. Remember that? I
Yeah.
reckon she was a real trendsetter with the
Don't
hair.
ask me, do I remember anything about Princess Diana?
Because you definitely do or definitely don't.
She was a trendsetter.
Oh,
hair
yeah,
wise.
big time. Yeah,
I
very
reckon
stylish.
I had a few aunties who definitely got on that trend.
Yeah.
So she reminded me of an auntie.
yeah, big time.
But like a very cool,
Yeah, cool
trendy.
auntie.
She had the bike shorts.
Yeah.
And
How
the
cool are
jumpers.
bike shorts?
She was cool.
Yeah.
She's
hot auntie
always
vibes.
ready to jump on a bike.
She was always ready to go cycle away.
And she would break royal protocol and like touch starving children and people
On
would
the
be
elbow.
like, wow.
Yeah, people were
She
like,
just
"Whoa,
picked up
you're
a
incredible.
child.
You
Wow."
treated someone like a human."
The royals
Which was
like, we
genuinely
don't
bold.
do that. We don't do that.
That's against protocol.
Yeah.
Do not treat them like humans.
Don't treat them like humans. How dare you?
They're subjects.
You're above them.
If you're touching them, touch them with your boot.
With your boot.
Could be the toe of your boot or the sole of your boot.
Whatever,
They
however
would
you.
prefer the soul, I think.
Stomping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more of a
okay.
stomp than
Yeah.
a touch, really.
Okay.
I was going for a very flat kick.
Well,
But
it's because you're wearing skate shoes.
that's right. I'm a skater girl.
You're always ready to skate.
You're probably more like a kick flip.
Yeah,
them in the
that's it.
face.
That's what I'm thinking.
So most of the material for this report / novel comes from the Andrew Morton book, Diana, Her True Story in Her Own Words.
Jeez, that's a bit personal, isn't it? Dropping the princess. Yeah, he obviously knew her pretty well.
Yeah, they were
Huh?
mates.
Oh, it's honestly, be formal in book form.
Oh, I see.
Give her the title she deserves.
Okay.
Well, I guess you could argue that by then she didn't want to be referred to as a princess.
I'm on first name basis. I don't even have to call her a princess. All right, Mr. Man.
But it's
whatever
in
your
her own
whatever your
words.
name was.
Andrew Morton.
Andrew Morton.
It's in her own words. You think she's walking around saying, "Hello, I'm Princess Diana."
She actually famously said a few times, "Call me Diana. Don't
Yeah.
call me Princess Diana." You know, like...
I remember her saying, "Call me Diane."
Call me Diane.
Am I
I remember her saying,
misremembering
"Call
that?
me Mum."
Yeah. Matt, stop calling me Princess Diana. It's
Am
weird.
I thinking of the right person still?
No. So this book, the abridged version, which I own because I'm very normal, contains transcripts from these like ongoing interviews that she had with him and also that he had with her friends secretly, and all of these conversations and films and stuff were like smuggled out of the palace.
Wow.
So when the book first came out,
In someone's butt?
probably.
Oh my God.
Yeah. How else
That's
do you
not
smuggle
mentioned,
stuff?
but that's the only way to
Hol-
smuggle things out.
Holy
famously.
shit.
Yeah.
Famously.
That is wild.
Whoa.
Yeah, there's a lot of people with huge assholes in Britain.
Palace is full of huge assholes.
Yeah. That's how you get a job in there. Jeez, you got a big
Spread 'em.
cavity? Let's see what you got.
That's the only interview.
You got the
Yeah.
job.
Oh god.
Let's see how many things you can bring into the interview.
Yeah. Show us your
Top of the
resume.
suitcase.
Please take a seat. Don't worry, I brought my own. That took you a second to get. We were
Yeah.
talking about shoving stuff up your
I
ass.
know. Like, I think it's because you let me. I was thinking like they're like, can we see your resume? And they pull out an iPad. But you've gone straight to chair.
Chair, yeah. Well, why not?
Why not?
It's
Why
an
not?
interview.
Hey,
That's
yeah,
it.
you're there to impress.
Got to be your best self in an interview.
That's it.
Yeah, what kind of chair are we talking? Like maybe an ottoman or yeah, not some sort of fold-out chair.
No. I
That's
want
not going to get you the gig.
A plastic rickety folding
Yeah,
camper
come on.
chair.
I want to be
No.
comfortable. How dare you?
No. Okay.
I like that. It makes sense that it is interviews with him. I thought
Yeah.
because if it's called in his own words, in her own words.
Well, if it was
and
called
he-
in his own words, then yes, that would be insane.
That would be
Diana,
baffling.
in his own words, mine.
Diana,
It's in mine.
in my honest opinion. He's just him going like, I reckon she is pretty good.
It's just a bunch of him being like, "Oh, I reckon this.
Yeah.
I reckon that." But it is like it is. I will get serious at points here, and I can't not. Sorry, but it is the closest thing we have to like an autobiography because she never wrote one, and she was like famously silenced and stuff. So the book is the basis of a lot of stuff, like the season of The Crown and a few recent films that have been made and stuff about her. So that's sort of what I've gone on.
Yeah, cool.
I do need you to know this is a very abridged version. It's a very shortened version because my original report, because I wrote it like 9 months ago, was also when I was like in insane lockdown mode and I went to town.
Yep.
Like my original report was 16,000 words.
Whoa, okay.
I Googled word counts of famous books because I thought maybe I had written one.
Have I written a famous book?
Yeah, I got really excited.
Better double check.
But it turns out 15,000 words isn't actually a lot in terms of like... So Animal Farm by George Orwell.
Yeah.
Yes.
30,000.
Okay.
You know, so I wrote...
So
and that's not doesn't feel like a really thick book.
You wrote half an Orwell.
I wrote half of like a communist horse.
You could, if you released it, you could have called it Diana by Andrew Murfitt by Dee, in my own words.
Yeah, that's good.
I would definitely say Andrew Murfitt in his my own, her words.
Yeah.
That's what I would call it.
That's good stuff.
Because I don't know if there are any publishers listening, maybe a penguin or a puffin.
Listening, yeah.
A penguin or a puffin?
Just
the animals.
The animals, yeah.
Yeah.
Or whoever works for the publishing corporation.
Okay, so you started with 16,000 words. Luckily, you are a writer by trade.
I am.
And have edited that? You've brought that down?
You're like, please tell me.
No, I hope
please tell me we don't have to
I'm
sit
comfortable.
here all day.
I'm really comfortable. I hope you haven't edited it at all. I hope you've edited
I've
it out.
I've edited in terms of adding stuff.
Perfect.
So,
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for.
No, I did try to whittle it down, but I cannot promise that this will not be long.
That's okay.
Where can people find your writing, by the way? deefidge.com?
/Diana.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I need a website or something. People often say, where do I find your work? And I'm like, I'm uncomfortable. And then I just walk away.
If anyone listening is a web designer or a penguin or a puffin, please get in touch. Get in touch.
Okay.
Even just follow Dee on Twitter is a real treat.
Dee Figgled.
Yeah, Figgled.
Or just Figgled. Yeah, it's just Figgled. I've added the D.
You added the D there.
I'm sorry, too formal.
It's too formal.
Dee Figgled's my mum's name. Call me Figgled. Call me at Figgled.
Call me at Figgled.
I'm going to have a go at not interrupting for a bit and just let you
go.
No, I like it.
I'm going to try and edit this intro down because Jess would have finished some of her reports by this stage and we haven't even let you start it.
That's my problem, though. I need to get better at being like, shut the fuck up and let me talk about this wonderful woman.
Yeah, that's the joy of being the report giver.
And I'm not good at that. So, again, I apologise for not being more aggressive.
Hey, you have our permission to tell us to shut the fuck up.
Even that is like giving me a cold shiver.
Yeah,
the
that's
idea
stressful.
Of being mean. Okay.
Sorry, this is our first time interrupting.
Stop talking.
So
it's true.
I don't know how
Shut
to.
up.
Jess,
Matt,
I did not give you permission
shut
to tell me to shut up.
Okay, well, I'm saying it.
Okay. Say the words, though, Dee.
I feel like I feel like I'm starting again. We're starting at the start. The year 1961. The month.
Good year.
Oh, Matt. That's your first warning.
How many do I get? I've had a sip of coffee.
You get a million warnings because it's me and I'm very passive and cowardly. The month is July. Mm-hmm. And the day, numero uno.
Ooh.
On the 1st of July, 1961, Diana Frances Spencer was born.
DFS.
DFS.
Not bad.
Who knows what zodiac sign that makes her?
Start of July. I'm going to guess...
Well, I know it's not Libran because that's what I am.
I'm a Libra too.
Oh, but it's
we balance each other
out.
We're
so balanced and bad with money, but so nice.
I think it's too early for Leo. Or is it Leo? No, Leo's later.
Scorpion.
But it's not. It's between Gemini and Leo.
Oh, Pisces.
Should I just say it?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah. So she was a Cancer.
Cancer, got it.
Their traits, I don't even believe in horoscopes. Their traits are loyal, sensitive, compassionate, sociable, lover of the arts.
Okay.
Wow.
Tick.
So no negatives for Cancers.
I'm sure there are. But
well, I mean, they're crabs.
Got one big hand.
Yeah.
That's a fairly obvious negative.
Yeah, claw for a hand.
Yeah.
Okay. Try and hold a cup.
Sideways.
Can't do it.
It's very complicated being friends with a crab.
Yeah.
I imagine.
But the rest
Yeah.
is positive.
All good. Loyal. They're loyal as they
Exoskeleton.
scuttle around behind you with their big hands. Okay, so Diana came from a very noble family, lots of money, elite circles. Her parents, Francis and John, had a lot of money and good standing in elite circles. When she was born, it was a time when the main purpose of a woman was to give birth to a son.
Okay.
Cool.
That
That
was
was
in
the
the
purpose.
1960s.
In like this weird
Okay.
social circle
Yeah.
stuff as well. Like they had that big history of being sheep farmers since the 1500s and stuff. So it was like, we need men to carry on the sheep
Farming.
trade.
Women
Yeah.
can't do sheep. And I can say it as a feminist, but women can't, they just can't herd sheep.
Famously, we can't. Babe the pig, he was a little boy.
He was a boy
We
pig.
can't do it.
Can't do it.
We can't.
I'm so glad to hear that she had such an underdog upbringing, because we all know her as the people's princess. Because she
that's
was an
the thing.
outsider. She was just anyone could have been her, as long as they were from a family
Yeah.
of rich sheep.
Rich
Shepherds.
sheep.
Rich
Rich-
sheep. Rich sheep. Look at that sheep in that top hat.
Oh,
That is a fancy sheep.
oh,
He's
that
got a
would-
monocle.
Oh my God, I'm intimidated by that sheep.
Great. Another group of people I have to be intimidated by. Rich sheep.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh, it looks like it's wearing pure merino wool.
I guess the reason I'm giving a little bit of her background about her upbringing is for obvious reasons. Like it says a lot about who she was, and childhood is obviously important to all of us. So for background, Diana's mum gives birth to 2 daughters. So Diana has 2 older sisters.
Oh, how furious would everyone have been?
Exactly. And then, this is sad, they have a son, but he dies almost immediately after childbirth. And again, being in the 60s, he is just whisked away from Frances, and she doesn't even get to hold him or
man.
find out how he died. It's just horrible time.
Awful.
So there's a lot of trauma that no one talks about because British.
And that's and the lot that wasn't to be cruel. They obviously thought that was for the best somehow.
I think it was we don't want to upset her or something.
Yeah. Let's
I
not
don't
talk
know.
about it. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
then-
just everything under the rug,
Yeah.
like not even acknowledging. So she just goes home without a bit. It's just, yeah,
it's so grim.
it's really, really grim. She eventually becomes pregnant again, and that is when Diana is born.
Another girl.
Yeah.
Shit.
Well, for real, her parents hadn't even thought of a girl's name, so she didn't have a name for a full week.
Well, that's why her middle name's Frances.
Yeah, they were so desperate. They were like, Frances? I'm surprised they didn't call her Sheep. Like, yeah, it says a lot about entering the world and just feeling like a disappointment.
Yeah.
And your family just didn't really want you. Like, they didn't even think of a name for a week. She was just, I guess, baby. Maybe they
Baby.
called
Where's
her
the baby? I got a hand-me-down name because my parents, when they had my older brother, were so sure he was a girl. So they had a name picked out for him, and then they had him and were like, we have to think of a name for a boy. Then 7 years later, they had me and like, we'll just use that name again.
Perfect.
Still like that.
Back
Ready
up.
to go.
Just use that. I'm like, okay.
Well, no, it just means that you were the one they wanted all along.
True.
Ah.
Yeah, they never wanted my brother.
No.
Yeah, and he's the disappointment.
Yeah.
Do they
Yeah.
tell him that all the time?
Absolutely not. He's the golden child. But
But that's their guilt talking.
Yeah, they're
Yes.
overcompensating.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He
It's
just built the
actually you.
house they live in. But I can write little jokes.
You sure can. And you can skateboard.
And I can skateboard and they're like, look at her go.
'Cause he was just a boy, but you're a girl who could have a boy, and isn't that in some ways even more
Yes.
valuable?
Exactly.
I could have a boy.
Boy machine.
Yeah.
The creator of
Oh.
boys.
I make boys.
I make boys.
That's good out of context.
Yeah,
So
that's
Di's mum by this stage has had 3 girls.
Yep.
If this was a different time and her husband was Harold or whatever his name was, Henry the Eighth or whatever,
Oh,
I think she might have been offed.
beheaded.
yeah.
Yeah,
Probably.
Yeah, big old disappointment.
that's 3
the
chances
opposite is my
next.
nightmare, though. Just having like 3 or 4 teenage boys.
That's a nightmare.
Kill
Oh,
Are
because
you
they'd be
kidding
so
me?
big, and how do you push them out? That'd be
It
brutal.
would be brutal.
Ouch!
Imagine
Yeah.
giving birth to 3 teenage boys at once.
At
Like,
once.
Insane.
But yeah, they all feet coming out at the same time.
Yeah.
Picture it. That's
they're
nightmare
fighting
stuff.
with each other.
You
on the
skip
way
the
out.
stage where they think you're the best. They're
Yeah.
just straight away teenagers. They're like, fuck off, mum. Can you drive me to the shops? And it's like, oh.
You're like,
Like-
I've got so many stitches.
I'm like, can you drive me?
Yeah, imagine and like all the wounds and how they'd be full of like Lynx Africa, which would just like sting
Yeah.
on the way out, and they'd stink.
Yeah. So much Lynx Africa, but they still
Well, that
stink
mix
so
of
bad.
BO and
Yeah,
Africa.
because they refuse to shower.
Yeah, we know that. We all know that smell very well.
Yeah.
I never smelt it. I just dealt it.
So you were the cause of it. Okay.
Although
You're the source.
I used a different Lynx, but because I was pretty cool. Everyone used Africa, but I used Accelerate. But,
Accelerate.
and it's defunct now. You probably haven't heard of it, but
I genuinely haven't.
That's good.
I'm gonna find it.
It was the superior scent.
Oh,
but,
okay.
So
All right. So this is me interrupting you.
Yeah, good job.
yes,
They come
this
back
is
to the
you
job.
interrupting us.
Well done.
That's the right way to frame it for sure.
I'm just so scared that we're going to be here for 6 hours. You're going to hate me. So basically, yeah, in interviews, Diana said early memories from her childhood are basically of being treated like you should have been a boy. We didn't really want you. A couple of years later, though, Frances does give birth to a son.
Phew.
So his name is Charles, which could get confusing because she later marries Prince Charles. So for context, if we ever need to refer to Brother Charles, let's say Brother Charles.
Brother Charles.
Charles.
Okay, great.
Thank you. So she grows up in this massive mansion in the country. It has like 10 bedrooms, lots of staff. She has a super privileged upbringing.
The underdog, people's princess.
Yeah, underdog. She's
But
just
you know
like us.
what was missing in the house?
More boys.
Love.
Oh, that was good, Dee. That was good.
Thank you. I wrote it 9 months ago. That's also not completely true. She got on really well with her siblings.
When you've got a small amount of love in such a big house, it's diluted in the space
That's
as well.
right.
It's like having a little heater
Yes.
in a big mansion. Like, not many people are going to feel it.
I don't know how you
Yeah.
came to that analogy as we sit in this huge room with a small heater, but
That I
I like
actively
it.
pointed to.
yeah, and that I cannot feel the heat from.
But
You
it,
can come sit next to me if you want.
No,
by the
it's
way.
fine.
Thanks.
I'm fine.
Talk about emotional neglect. So, yes, she got on really well with her siblings. It's just her parents did that classic upper class British thing of being really formal and cold and emotionally neglectful while just like spending heaps of money on education.
Why have kids? Oh, you had to.
I don't know.
It simply wasn't acceptable to not have them.
well, you
Like
needed
sheep? Something about sheep?
Something about
who's
sheep.
going to take over the sheep company?
That's kind
The
of
sheep
yeah.
company?
Yeah,
The sheep mill.
Yeah.
yeah. Who's taking over the
Who's
sheep
taking over the
mill?
sheep mill?
I don't even know if they ended up doing that. I should have researched that.
Well, I don't think Princess Di did,
She certainly didn't. No. Never saw a photo of her with a lamb.
but maybe Brother Charles, as
Maybe
was
Brother
his
Charles.
birthright.
Yeah, I imagine he got whatever he wanted. Or
yeah,
no, he.
probably all the cool toys and
Yeah.
stuff. He was the
Yeah.
only boy.
Yeah.
But then they would have so much
And the
pressure on
baby.
him to
And the
take
baby
everything
of
over.
Yeah,
family.
baby. God, the babies are
Double whammy.
insufferable. The absolute worst. Little attention seekers.
The Princess Di, middle child syndrome.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much, actually. So it was in a really rural area, hence the sheep stuff. And her older sisters, because there was an age gap, they go to boarding school. So for most of her childhood, it's just Diana and her younger brother, Charles, kicking about in this empty mansion devoid of love. Their mum, Frances, becomes quite depressed and her parents fight a lot. And her mum ends up moving to London and they separate. And she's like, see ya. And gets an apartment and dates and goes to cool parties and stuff.
Oh, I love it.
But also, meanwhile, these kids aren't really getting like
Oh, yeah.
parenting.
You're just thinking like, yeah, she's
like,
like ditched
do
the
it.
zero. She's getting
Well, she
with a
did her
hero.
job. She birthed a boy.
It's true. And I can sort of relate to that because she was 18. Diana's mum was 18 when she got married,
Yeah.
right? And she's meant to just churn out these kids, which she's done. And she's like, I'm exhausted. I want to have an actual life. So her mum moves to London and actually starts dating this cool artsy guy who is described in multiple accounts as bohemian, which I feel back then maybe just meant like he owned a purple hat.
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
Or was gay. Like,
Yeah.
we don't really know what
Yeah.
that means in this context. Yeah.
He was
so-
somewhat open-minded. And people are like, oh,
Yes.
how very bohemian.
Yes, he attended a gallery once.
Yeah, and everyone's like, okay.
Was not
alright.
overtly racist.
Yeah, exactly. It's the
How
bar is pretty low
bohemian.
for bohemian, I think, yeah.
He might have been from Bohemia.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe, yes, I've misinterpreted that
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah.
That's on me.
Yeah.
I will own that and issue a long apology via the notes app of my phone.
Perfect,
Yeah.
thank you.
If you could do that in your own words.
In her own words. Okay, so at some stage, Diana's mum says, actually, no, I want the kids. So they're moving to London.
Sick.
Diana's 6 and her whole life gets kind of uprooted but becomes a bit more normal. They're living in an apartment in the city. She gets the train to school, gets some friends. But after a year, Diana's dad sues for sole custody and wins. So she's yanked back to the countryside to be in this empty mansion without her mum.
No, but he wanted the kids so badly that he went to court that I'm sure he's going to be a doting father
Yeah,
from
that's
now
right,
on.
yeah.
Family court dads are famously amazing.
If he really
Yeah.
fought for the kids, then obviously he's probably going to quit sheep work.
I mean, like, why else would you do it? Just out of spite for your ex-wife?
I
Like,
can't see any
as
way
if.
that would be the case.
It would just be because you miss your children so much and you think they should spend all of their time with me and never see their bitch mum again.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You
And
know?
always be like calling her a bitch mum.
Yeah, exactly.
That's basically what he did.
Otherwise, if you don't let them know, they might try and have a relationship with her, and that's
Yeah.
not
Ooh,
on.
You got to make sure
problematic.
Yeah.
make sure the kids know that their mum's a bitch.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
what she did to you.
Yeah.
Embarrassed me
Yeah, humiliated. Use
Yeah.
the word
in
humiliated.
society.
Yeah.
Maybe get all your other divorced dad friends around
Yeah.
and bitch
Yeah.
about your wives together.
Yeah,
that
just so
kind
the
of
kids
dynamic.
understand. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially the girls, so
The
they
girls
don't
need
make
to
the same
know.
mistakes.
Exactly.
Mm.
And you can show them that you're cool now because you've got your bed's a car. Picturing
Millhouse.
Millhouse's
exactly.
dad.
No, I got it. I'm listening. A fun side note that I enjoy is that Diana never liked any of her nannies.
Okay.
And she used to play little pranks on them, which I think is fun. So she used to like leave little pin cushions on their chairs and like chase them out of the house.
Okay.
So she just kind of had this revolving door of nannies.
Did the pin cushions have pins in them? Otherwise, that doesn't feel like a very good prank.
I assume they did, but also it's a really funny prank otherwise. It's like,
still
oh, you
good.
put this little cushion on my chair.
The
Yeah.
cushion's too small for you. It's made for pins,
Yes,
not
it's
butts.
too small.
You look like a fool.
That's not for bottom.
You're embarrassed.
The nannies scream and
Yeah.
Depending on the person, they might sit on that and swallow it whole, you know?
Yeah, that's
Well,
right.
that's
Knowing the
true.
English.
we
They're-
know about the English buttholes. Okay, Jesus, I need to move fast. Okay, I'm trying to skim through some of this.
No,
formative stuff.
I'll start biting my tongue more. You don't skim.
Yeah, finish that coffee, Matt. That'll occupy your mouth for a little bit and certainly won't have any other consequences.
Did you just scull that and then put it down instantly?
Certainly not.
Okay, so basically, it sounds like neither of her parents really knew what it meant to be a parent, unfortunately. Like, not judgment, but they didn't really nurture these kids.
Possibly that was passed down from their parents.
Oh, yeah, big time. Big time intergenerational sheep farming parenting style. Her parents would compete for her attention, but not actually give her attention. They would compete with money. So, for example, one time they threw a party together and each of them separately gave Diana a dress to wear. And they said, you have to choose which dress you're going to wear.
Oh,
Like, how fucked is that? She's like
awful.
8.
That's fucked.
Yeah.
That is
And then she's got to wear
awful.
2 dresses.
Yeah.
You know?
Like the colours clash.
Yeah. Blue and green should never be seen.
Famously.
What are they doing to her?
If it was an
Yes.
Amanda Bynes movie, though, right? What she would do is look at herself in the mirror and scrunch up her face a little bit, take some scissors to it, combine the 2 dresses to make an even better dress.
Oh, fantastic. Or if she was Mrs. Doubtfire,
Yeah.
she would
Change.
was about
she would
to
keep
say.
changing and saying, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going, changing, then singing her
Yeah,
dad.
She's
yeah.
also doing different voices for no reason.
Yeah, that's right.
Still Diana. She's like, hello there, Papa.
Yeah.
So anyway, just a weird dynamic for a kid to grow up
Yeah,
in.
very
As a
odd.
child of divorce, I understand what
It's
it's
so
like.
funny to imagine the parents like competing for her attention as well. It's so strange.
very
It's so
strange.
embarrassing for them.
Yeah.
Like
it's,
that they are not humiliated by that kind
it's
of behavior.
mortifying.
Hey,
Like, what are you doing?
I'm gonna do a little play. Come and watch.
Yes,
I've rehearsed a dance for the new Spice Girls song.
She's like, what's a Spice Girl? So during meals, like we were saying about the dad wanting sole custody, he ate separately in a dining room in the big dining hall, and Diana and her brother and whichever nanny she hadn't tortured, they would all sit together in a room. So like they didn't even have family bonding time. Insane. Her dad threw a big birthday party for her, which was more to show off. Like there were no other kids there.
Oh,
It was just his mates drinking. He also arranged camels to be there, like a bunch of camels, but no one was allowed to ride them.
I mean,
so it's just like have a look at some camels.
I'm not
Like,
sure
look
he
how
knows.
rich I am, I guess.
I don't know if he knows how to show off.
No.
Yeah.
You're doing it wrong, mate.
It all sucks.
Maybe this is how you show off back then
Right.
in rural England in
Check
the
it out.
60s.
Hey, fellas, check it out. Look at them camels.
Don't touch it.
Don't touch them.
Don't even think about riding it.
But just know that I got them here.
Oh, P.S. It's my daughter's birthday.
Yeah, let's get sloshed.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's so impressive.
Rich people are insane.
Yeah.
I actually wrote that several times. Long and the short of it, she grew up emotionally neglected. She was with a divorced dad for a few years, and then, like her older sisters, went off to boarding school. And she, I guess you could say, thrives in this environment. She gets really involved. She joins an insane amount of sporting things: swimming, dancing, acting, netball. Like a lot of people, she says she felt like an outsider at school, but people who actually went to school with her were like, no, she was great. Like, we loved her. She wasn't the popular girl, but she wasn't bullied. She was just really nice,
Yep.
by all accounts.
Oh, classic cancer. Is that right?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, big
Classic
time.
cancer.
Classic cancer.
Oh, yeah, classic cancer.
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
yep.
As she gets a bit older, she wants to start volunteering. And so she volunteers at a hospital when she's a teenager, which not really many other people her age were doing, especially rich people. And the staff were like, she was great and warm and just genuinely loved connecting with people. It didn't seem to be like an ego thing or anything like that.
And that's the kind of thing that you would, like, people wouldn't lie about that, right? Normally people would love an opportunity to be like, yeah, she was here, but she was actually a real bitch. You know?
Yeah, and
That's
she
pre-
volunteered mainly in like the aged care wards and like not the fun. I don't know. She wasn't Patch Adams, you know.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
she, you know, it's for people.
That's smart. Then the people that you've helped look after, they die.
Yeah.
Nobody can tell what you were actually like.
Maybe she was horrible.
Yeah. Who cares?
Don't
They're
make me
dead.
doubt Diana.
They're long dead. She could have been awful
Wait.
to
She
them.
would not.
Could have stealing their wallets.
Those
or something.
old people in the 80s are now dead.
Big time.
Jess,
Super dead.
I'm
don't.
heartbroken. Stop
Or she
it.
might
Don't
have been
spoil
incredible.
the rest
she was
of
probably
Dee's
incredible.
report.
That's what the nurses say. They say she was great, so that's what it was.
I'd much prefer to hang out with old people than kids at like a hospital or whatever. If I wasn't volunteering, old people
Yeah,
are great. I
same.
love hanging out with old people.
Yeah, you get to hear their stories and
Yeah,
stuff.
they're so cool. I think.
What about the shouty racist ones, though?
I think that.
That would be a struggle.
I'd avoid them, I think.
Yeah, I reckon if you hear old people, there's two things that come to you. Two types of people. I think of the lovely old people.
Yeah.
If I think of old people, I think they're all lovely. But you're right. There are, like any other age, there's
Exactly.
also awful old people.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're just people, Matt. They're just people.
That's so interesting. I didn't think I was gonna get such insight
Yeah.
today, but
like
just
we're all
people.
gonna. You're already very old,
yes,
though.
Yeah.
I think I'm the
So-
oldest person on record.
That's why you're describing everyone as lovely.
Yeah, that's true. Because they're all kids to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
They're-
yeah.
They're
Someone who's
cute,
80 is
adorable
like a
little
little baby.
80-year-olds.
Yeah. So cute.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't get into politics with some, but or
Yeah.
any of them. I don't get into politics with most people.
Yeah.
I think
do.
if I was volunteering at a hospital, I wouldn't really mention politics.
No,
Yeah,
that's
I'd
true.
leave
general,
that alone.
but that's
So
just
who are you
me.
voting for? That's normally my opener when I'm
No.
volunteering at a hospital.
Just some active debating.
Who you
with
got?
The children.
Mine would be, what's the flavour of jelly today? You know, just keep it light.
Cute,
Keep it light.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you know how they make jelly?
Hooves.
Boiling hooves and bones. Yeah, what flavour of hooves and bones are you having?
Strawberry.
So this is why you're not allowed to volunteer at a hospital,
Yeah.
Matt.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
from this side of the room.
Yeah.
They gave me quite a few chances.
Too many, some would say. Anyway, right. Despite doing well academically and socially, Diana did not get the grades her sister did, and she did fine, though. But she developed a weird complex about this and would always call herself dumb. Like, even in media interviews, there's a lot of footage of her being really self-deprecating about her intelligence and saying, like, oh,
Call
I did
me Princess
pre-warn you.
Diana.
That's the thing. I did warn you. I can't do an accent. But she says things like, oh, I'm as thick as a plank.
Oh,
Which is like a funny thing to say. But
Yeah.
also, like, you don't have to talk down to yourself, girl.
Yeah.
D. A little bit of irony there, as you just said you can't do an accent talking down yourself when you
Wow.
nailed
And
the
you did great
accent.
Oh my God, thank you. Maybe I can do accents.
You definitely
Yeah.
can. That was fantastic.
I think maybe you need to take a little bit of your own advice.
Yeah.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
This is now the Princess D report. So around this time when she's finishing high school, Diana's dad gets remarried to a woman named, and this sounds like a fake name, Rain McCorkale.
First
does
name,
sound like
first name Rain.
Rain.
McCorker Kale.
There's a lot of C's and a lot of Q's.
Okay.
That's
So
a fantastic
that's a
name. And
incredible.
Fantastic name.
but it really did sound like you were making it up in real
This will
time.
sound made up.
I know. Like, this will sound made up, guys.
But
and then I
believe
just
me, for
make up
sure.
a name.
That is a bonkers name.
But what's weird is they get married without telling the kids
Cool.
or inviting them, of course, to any wedding. Because, like, why would you want there to be any emotional connection?
No, my children shouldn't be at my wedding.
They throw a wedding party and they don't invite the kids.
That's so weird. What a missed opportunity for flower girls and ring bearers.
And to show off.
Yeah, and to show the kids off.
Yeah.
Camels.
Give them 2 dresses
Put some
Two
flowers
dresses.
on the
to the
camels.
camels.
For the camels each. The camels are stressing.
Which do I choose? Which one is more flattering for my humps?
So the kids,
My lovely lady loves.
the kids naturally, I'm ignoring you. The kids naturally grow a bit resentful at the dad, and they also don't get on with the stepmother and create a nickname, Acid Rain,
Oh, that's good.
which is fun.
That's fun.
You know, pretty good little word.
That's
play
fun.
there. So around this time, when there's all this weird family stuff happening, this is when Diana meets Prince Charles for the first time.
Her brother. Am I right?
That's Brother Charles.
That's Brother Charles.
That's brother Prince Charles.
This is Prince Charles of the Royals.
So there's 3 Charles: Brother Charles, Prince Charles, and Brother Prince Charles. No, there's 2. But I don't know if you guys know this, but they met when Prince Charles was dating her older sister Sarah.
Oh,
I know
did-
this from The Crown.
Yeah, see, you know.
But
I
I
did
was
not know
confused
that.
by that scene.
So Diana was 16.
Going on 17.
She meets Charles, who was, I think, 30 at the time.
Oh, I
and
didn't know
dating
that.
Her older sister. So I guess, I don't know how old her sister was, but there would have been at least less of a weird gap.
Yeah. Maybe early 20s or something.
Yeah.
Still.
Insane side note that I need to mention, Sarah, the sister, at the time was experiencing a really bad eating disorder, and her family used their connection to the royals to control her food intake. So they would say stuff like, if you gain X amount of pounds, you can talk to Prince Charles on the phone. Like,
Or gain weight.
yeah,
Well,
like to
yeah.
encourage her
Wow.
to eat
I think
and
that-
stuff. But
that's-
how fucked is that?
No, I think that's clever to link
romantic
relationships with weight.
It just speaks to, I guess, again, this weird, unhealthy family dynamic that
Oh,
Diana already was coming from.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, I did not know that he was dating her older sister.
yeah, so that's how they met. She was the 16-year-old younger sister.
Wow.
He was 29 and she was 16.
Oh, okay. Oh, oh my God, thank God. I thought it was going to be gross.
Whoa.
That's a big gap.
Calm your sheep farms, everyone. It's not that bad.
That's a big gap. That's what they said in the interview process for
Yes.
the smugglers.
Oh, that's a big gap.
That's an impressive gap.
When someone has a gap in their resume in that scenario,
Yeah.
it's a positive.
It's a big
It's
plus.
a huge positive. It's a benefit. So here's a quote from an interview from when they were asked about the day they met. The reporter asks, "What was your first impression of Diana?" And Charles says, apologies again for this perfect accent.
Please.
There
Hey, Dee, no apologies.
I can't do it. I remember thinking, what a jolly, amusing and attractive 16-year-old.
Oh.
Bouncy and full of life.
Bouncy.
Also, don't say her age.
Yeah, don't.
You don't, just say, oh, I thought she was a nice young woman.
Yeah.
You know, I was dating her sister. I thought she was nice. Don't say, what an attractive 16-year-old. That's what I was thinking at 29.
Yeah, first time I saw her, I was like, hubba hubba, yabba dabba ding dong.
You can't-
I want to put my willy in that.
And you've got to assume that he was coached to say something like that as well. That's what they thought that was the good version of it.
That's what got
I want
approved.
to see the drafts versions.
Far out.
Sickening.
Because
Anyway.
knowing how it all sort of goes, it was probably more like he was like, yeah, didn't think much of her.
Yeah, which is probably true. Because he was, So they
So
were like,
he's
no, make sure that you notice she was a hot
so
teen.
bouncy.
Bouncy. What does that mean? Was she leaping around?
Yeah, why? Why was she doing that?
Pogo sticks.
Oh, she was on a pogo
She was
stick.
on a pogo stick.
She was on a
Yeah.
space ball.
She was allowed on the pogo stick, not allowed on the camel.
She was alternating between the space ball and the pogo
Yeah,
stick.
she was
It
very busy that day.
stressful.
And a jumping castle. She was,
Good Lord.
Wow.
So not long after this, Charles goes to the Spencer family house for dinner, still as the partner of Sarah. And he sidles up to Diana, this attractive, bouncy 16-year-old. And he says, oh, can you show me the art upstairs?
Oh, that's a euphemism.
I don't know.
Here, can you show me the art?
I do
upstairs?
call my tits the
that
art,
was
though.
better. That was really good, Matt.
Really? No.
As Charles, yeah. I'm not. Oh, that was
Yeah,
good.
hey.
He's got a weird.
Why are you patting me on the head as you're saying it?
Because I got long arms. But Sarah overhears this, the sister, and she butts in. She's like, no, don't take my little sister upstairs to see this art. So I guess you could say Charles had a bit of a crush
Oh, he did have a crush on her.
Diana from the start.
Oh.
You could also say he was a pervert. You know, we could say a lot of things.
Yeah.
Eventually, that relationship between Sarah and him fizzles out.
Were they together for long, do you know?
It was sort of one of those like weird on and off courtships for a
Yeah.
few months, not long.
Yeah.
And
the
courtships
reason
there, it was sort of like just getting, are we going to get married? Like right off the bat.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's so like the royals are always like Charles needs to get married, so it's like always searching for a wife.
Well, if he's 29, it's like we need to get this boy married. Yeah.
And the reason their relationship ended is because the press found Sarah at one point and just said like, "Oh, are you going to marry the prince? Like, are you guys going to get married?" And she said, "Oh, we're not even thinking about that yet. Like, we're just dating casually." She was like super honest and upfront and didn't really think. And the royal family intervened and froze her out and said, "You can't date this bitch anymore."
Oh.
Whoa.
Like, she is not being respectful. Even
Charles
though
does
all
not
she
date
said
casually.
was like not kind of a normal answer.
A
being
very
like, we're enjoying
normal.
each other's company, but it's early days. And they were like, no,
No.
A very normal and very healthy response.
not princess material, apparently.
Charles'
Boom.
first date is also the first day of engagement, okay?
Yeah.
Pretty much when it comes to with Diana, pretty much. So, but anyway, at this time, there is obviously a few years that go on between Diana reconnecting with Charles. She's moving through life, graduating high school, not a girl, not yet a woman. She finishes school at 18 and moves to London back in with her mum and tries to reconnect that relationship. Like a lot of women of her background, she had like a super top rate education, but wasn't expected to actually do anything with it.
Right.
Like school was more to enable you to have fancy conversations about poetry, not to actually have a career,
So
because you're
no
still expected to just pop out babies.
Yeah, right. No expectation to like go to university or have a job or any kind of career.
Don't make me vomit.
They got great big textbooks, but not to learn from, to balance on their heads.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Amazing posture.
Diana had no specific qualifications or anything that she wanted to study, but she knew she wanted a job. So she actually got one at a temp agency, which I find very cool.
Cool.
And she worked random odd jobs doing reception, waitressing, teaching at a ballet school because she loved to dance. And she ends up moving into her own flat with some friends and has on many occasions described this as the only happy time in her life, which is sad and beautiful, and we all miss our 20s.
Oh, yeah. All been there, Diana. But it's nice and kind of refreshing to hear. I didn't know that, so it's nice that she had like a bit of a normal life for a little bit.
Yeah.
She had a
wanted
little
that,
glimpse
I
of a
think.
normal life, yeah.
And her flatmates weren't super posh or anything. They
Yeah.
were just girls that she had met in London and stuff. So they just were like in this share house, like 4 of them.
Oh,
That's
she was
good.
so close to living a great life.
Right?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
had that chance.
Exactly. And it sounds like she didn't have much of a party lifestyle. She, by all accounts, didn't smoke and barely drank alcohol, but she still just wanted to be out in the world. She would still just watch TV in the evenings, go to the pub, and eventually got a job at a childcare centre. In terms of relationships, she went on a few dates with guys, but it sounds like she didn't really vibe with them. Like even men who went on 1 or 2 dates with her were like, oh no, she just clearly didn't like me very much and kind of ghosted.
Yeah, nice.
So there were no long-term relationships before she got married. And I have to mention this because this is a big part of why the royal family loved her at the start. She was probably a virgin when she got married.
Pure.
Wow, and the royal family knew this and loved it.
Loved it.
Normal stuff. Real
Very
normal
normal
areas.
stuff.
Totally normal conversations in that place.
Yeah.
You could even say they were obsessed with it.
And nice to meet you, Diana. Have you boned?
How's your hymen?
Yeah. Intact? Good to hear. Good girl.
Hi, man. How's your hi, man?
There it is.
Yeah,
Classic.
that's classic Liz.
That's
Yeah.
classic Queen Lizzie.
We've got a fair way into this episode, Dee, without finding out pro or not pro.
Nice.
Wish there was a word for that. Monarchy in Australia.
Oh.
Me?
Yeah, Republican or monarchist. I guess that's probably it.
Do I strike you as a big royal family fan?
Well, hey, look, sorry if this is too personal. I can see you squirming in your seat.
I'm wriggling around so bad.
Dee wriggled more like it. Okay, I would have
that's
fun
good
there.
stuff.
Oh,
That's good
no.
No, I hate them and I want to burn it all to the ground.
Right. Well, because
As
you
an
love this
institution.
topic, but I guess Diana is sort of an outcast in it as well.
Yes, she's not a royal.
Right.
She's posh.
Yeah.
Fine. Accept that. But she's not a royal
Yeah.
family. And they, as you will find out, and as you probably know a little bit about, they chewed her up and spat her out. Like the institution sucks.
Yeah.
So
It's a very strange.
sorry if you were about to say that you love the royal family.
No, I'm
by
the
the
only.
way.
Well, I'm glad to have you on because Jess and Dave are big monarchists. I'm the only
Oh,
one.
yeah,
Really?
On the
yeah,
show.
yeah. Love them. A
So
big
you're
fan.
actually outnumbered this episode.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Which is good.
Which is, not good for you.
None
for
of
a
us
change.
were old. I mean, I was old enough, of course, but I missed it. None of us were around to vote in the last Republic vote for Australia.
Oh.
Hopefully there's another.
When was that?
The year 1999.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
A couple of years after, this report ends.
We
I
were too
assume.
busy stressing about the millennium bug. And
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Y2K.
Yeah,
Scary
Y2K,
stuff.
Scary. Do you guys remember the lollies, the millennium bugs that came out for a limited time? I think about them all the time.
Ah.
I don't remember,
remember them at
those.
all.
Oh, they were really good.
I remember Bertie Beetles.
Of course.
Is that
That's not a
is that
millennium
the same
bug.
thing?
It's a bug-related treat.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm giving you that.
Interesting.
Because bugs don't make me hungry for a treat.
No.
No. Well, you're not an anteater, so why
I'm
should...
not an anteater.
She's right.
Okay, so back to Diana and Charles reconnect when she's 19. She's had maybe 1 or 2 years of fun London freedom. At this time, Charles is dating a woman you might have heard of, and her name is Camilla Parker Bowles.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I get her confused with Sarah Ferguson.
Fergie.
Fergie. Or is it Sarah? Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She also ends up in the royal family.
But she's with one of the other.
Yeah,
That's
one
right.
of the other ones.
The not the one that doesn't sweat.
Yeah.
I think so.
Or the one that doesn't sweat.
One
Yeah.
with the sweat.
So Charles and Camilla are like not even hiding the fact that they're dating and all this sort of stuff, having lots of sex. I don't want to mention too much about Charles in this, but I kind of have to because of the relationship with Diana. But I just hate him.
Huh.
So his family are pressuring him to get married because at this stage now he's 30.
Oh my God, yuck.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm actually sorry I didn't give you like a warning about that.
Imagine.
It's so disgusting. Imagine being 30
I would want to
and not
die.
married.
I would want to die.
Yeah, like I'm 33 and like I'm so mad. I'm so mad.
Yeah. I'm 31 and mega
Yeah.
married, so everything's fine.
I'm totally married.
I had
many people.
I know of a guy, a cool guy who was 33 and unmarried. He also did a little carpentry.
I fucking knew it.
And so I think it's still cool to be
Okay.
33 and unmarried, okay?
And you can start carpentry whenever you want.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing.
That man's
Yeah.
name was, of course, Jeremy Bilvinson. Or Bilvo to his friends.
Bilvo.
We're just making up names.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Yeah, I love it. No, it's fun.
No.
That's the point of this podcast, isn't it?
Yeah, just make up names.
That's what it's called, isn't it? Make up names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Please.
Make up names.
Please, make up names.
God, that would have been so much better. A lot less work would have
Yeah.
gone into it.
A lot less reports.
Yeah. We could just sit around making up names
Oh,
for
that sounds like a lot of
half
fun.
an hour.
You would get even more Patreon subscribers from that. For
I think
sure.
so. Maybe that could be a stretch goal for a next, like a bonus episode.
We may as well call the Patreon read bit at the end.
make up names. That's true.
Make up names. So anyway, the royals are like pressuring Charles to get married, but they definitely don't want him to marry Camilla because she's not a virgin. That's literally, they are very open about that.
Which is
that was the problem.
That's the reason. She had had a brief relationship before Charles and now is dating Charles, and they've had sex, and the family are like, that's disgusting. She's impure. She's a slut.
oh my
Crazy.
God.
They're not even hiding that.
Wow.
But Charles is also impure.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't
but it's
matter.
fine.
It doesn't matter if boys have had sex.
I don't think men can be impure.
Oh, that's
I think by being
fantastic
men,
news.
they are just great.
Oh, self-cleaning.
Self-cleaning.
That's so handy.
I mean, if anyone's self-cleaning, it's women. But we just don't have time to get into
We
that.
don't have time to get into the
and
biology.
I don't want to get into that.
Yeah.
Teflon coated. Men.
Men. Yeah.
Have you tried men?
Have you tried, man?
I didn't realize that. I knew. I mean, obviously, otherwise they would have gotten married back then. But I knew there must have been some sort of reason as to why they couldn't get married. But I did not realize it was just that.
And they were in love and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
they were really happy together, but still,
So
both
many.
of them seemed to think it was fine to not do this because they stayed in each other's lives as like best mates. And
Wow.
Camilla ends up marrying some guy called Andrew, and they're all in the same friendship circle. Like, they all go along with these insane rules and don't question them,
Yeah. Right.
which I just find wild.
Yeah.
But then there's also no conflict, I guess, because they're all just friends.
So many lives would not have been ruined if they just let Charles marry Fergie.
Exactly.
Not Fergie.
Not Fergie.
Not
Camilla.
Fergie.
Camilla.
Yeah. That's wild. I don't think I could stay close friends and in the same circle as someone and their family who had done that.
Well, I mean, it's all very incestuous.
Yeah.
So, like, friends, families, neighbours are all probably the same 12 people.
Yeah,
So,
you're right. You
slim
can't-
pickings.
It's hard to find a new friend group.
The
really
British
difficult.
royal family being incestuous. Come on, Dee. Heard it all now.
Groundbreaking.
That's funny because you're saying you hate Charles. I found that The Crown made him quite a sympathetic character at times.
I shouldn't say I hate him because it's true. He is a victim of the system and stuff. But he also treated Diana like shit.
Yes, that's right.
So in that way,
It was one of those shows where there was episodes where I was like, oh, fuck, Charles, what a brutal life you've had. And other ones where you're like, fuck you, Charles.
it's true. And they all did sort of have a brutal life. Like, it's a cult, essentially.
Yeah.
If you don't call it a royal family and you call it a cult,
Yeah.
it becomes really clear how, like, abusive and fucked all of these weird rituals and stuff are.
It's absolutely wild as well, the way that the media and some people turn on like Prince Harry for walking away from it. And it's like, are you crazy?
Yes.
He's the smartest person of all of them.
Would you want to be a part of
Fuck
this?
no. They were awful and racist towards your wife.
Yes.
Get the fuck out
Famously.
of there. Yeah.
A lot of the media are part of the cult, though. It's like anyone leaving a
Yeah.
cult where you get outcasts and they try and cast aspersions on
Yeah.
your good name.
Going back to, like, witchcraft
Yeah,
days.
yeah. Salem.
But there is a funny anecdote, though. So one night, Charles, Camilla, and all of their friends go out for drinks, and there's a dance floor, and Charles and Camilla are making out on the dance floor. She's married
Okay.
at this stage. Her husband's there,
Cool.
and everyone's just like, all right, this is fine.
It's the 60s. Or 70s probably now.
Live a little.
Making out on the dance floor.
But that night makes the royals and the Queen in particular more motivated to get Charles a wife. They're like, he can't be out here slutting around on the D floor. And not long after that, Diana suddenly starts getting all these invitations to social events. One of them is an invitation to a weekend away at their country home, which is also an insane thing, but she's part of this weird elite social circle, so she's like, I guess it's fine.
I guess that's fine. The Queen's invited me for a weekend away.
I know.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll go for I'm sorry, guys, I can't come to the pub on Saturday. I'm going away for the weekend with the Queen.
Yeah.
Baffling.
Baffling. She watches Charles play polo and...
The most erotic sport.
It sounds so boring.
Yeah.
It's so boring. And the two of them eventually do get some time alone together and get chatting. And during this conversation, Diana mentions to Charles that she recently saw photos of him attending his uncle's funeral, who he'd been really close to, and it was really awful when he died. And she said something along the lines of, you looked so sad when you walked up the aisle at his funeral. It was so tragic. I thought, this is so wrong. You're very lonely. You should be with someone to look after you. Empath.
Yeah.
But also, no, girl, like, you don't have to be the person to fix him.
You don't try and fix him.
I know, but, you know, that shows, like, she was very sensitive and saw him being sad and did see that he was this lonely kid in this weird royal institution cult thing.
So odd.
She's so naive, I think.
Yeah.
And young.
Just young and sweet.
That's the thing. So even though she had aged from a bouncy 16 to a slightly less boisterous 19... Charles became super keen after that weekend. This is when their romance courtship begins. So after that weekend away, he invites her to the theatre. And here's the interesting thing about their courtship, as you said earlier, Matt. So they only meet 13 times before getting engaged.
Wow.
And not a single one of those 13 times they are alone.
Perfect.
Gorgeous.
That's how I like to date.
Dreamy.
Yeah, that's fun. I love a chaperone.
Is this not a date?
This is a date right now. And it's going very well.
It's going very well. I'm on my own couch.
It's a date between you and I, but obviously I've brought Matt as a chaperone.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And he's a great chaperone.
Great chaperone.
That's why I've been slapping away your hands. No.
Don't you dare.
I like the positive omen of 13
Oh, yeah, that feels good.
dates.
Ooh, yeah, the evil number.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's... And then they get engaged. Oh, that sucks.
Like her grandmother is the main chaperone for these events, or his royal family.
Oof.
The whole
Another
family.
gross thing.
Love that.
Another disgusting thing is Diana never calls him Charles until they're engaged. She only refers to him as Sir.
Oh.
Yucky.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yucky.
Don't like that.
But I guess this is all normal to them. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing weird about this to them.
Because he outranks her. Because he's a man.
Oh, yeah.
And a
he's-
royal.
And he's a royal.
And
Yeah.
a royal. So-
And so maybe she just has this, and maybe the time period, maybe respectfully you do call older men Sir. It's so bonkers.
It is.
Oh.
But then they're engaged and she's allowed to call him Charles.
Yes.
That's the privilege of marriage.
Exactly.
You
That's
get to call people by
the
their
only
name.
benefit that I can see. So I don't know if you guys have ever dated a royal in the 70s, but the logistics is insane.
I had a few wild flings, yes.
I thought you might.
Yeah.
I thought you might.
Probably shouldn't say too much.
So the weird process is Charles has to tell his family in order to go on a date. Okay, this is the process. He says, I wish to see Lady Diana on this date to the theatre or whatever. Then it gets sent through all these different channels of communication, eventually lands on the Queen's desk. She gets the final approval. That then gets circulated back to Charles to say, yes, you can do this. That can take weeks because of how insane these people are.
He can't just go to his mum.
No.
He can't book in a time to see his mum.
What?
That's
You taking bloody cuckoo bananas pills over there, Jess? Like, what are you talking about?
That is bonkers. Imagine now, though, he could just text her.
What's
Sup,
up?
mum?
What's up? Yeah.
No, he'd have to text someone in the pass it up the text chain.
Yeah, you'd have to FaceTime an associate.
Yeah, right.
There'd probably be a WhatsApp group chat for dates with the Queen in it.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Queen would not be in a group chat. She's like above.
Oh, okay. There's a
Don't you
secondary
think?
chat. Yeah,
A
yeah.
secondary secret chat.
Yeah.
It's just her.
What a
she
fucking
says-
nightmare.
The
You just-
corgis.
and I'm, I don't think Charles is the best, but what an awful life.
And to think that that's normal as well. And
Yeah.
to never it sounds like he just, and understandably, I guess, like you just don't question that.
Yeah.
That's most people don't question your own family unit and structure in general.
Yeah.
And so for this kind of standing, everyone in the public is also saying this is normal.
Yeah.
So why would you question it?
And he'd kind of, from memory on The Crown anyway, which I treat as a documentary, he was
Clearly.
kind of bullied his whole life. Or like even from inside the family, they're like giving him sort of tough love, trying to make him toughen up by
Oh, yeah.
going to this school that he hates where he just feels like an outcast everywhere.
Yeah, he had, by all accounts, he had no friends. His friends were his his dad's friends.
Ugh.
It's really sad.
And his mum showed him no affection.
Zero affection. I don't think any of them really did.
Yeah.
So weird.
So he didn't know
British.
how to treat people.
No, he had no idea how to interact with another human being, let
But
alone
then-
a child that
but-
he's courting.
Yeah.
Somehow he got lucky, met a soulmate, and his family said, well, you obviously can't have a relationship with them.
Yeah, obviously this can't go on.
Not to give too much sympathy for this guy, but
No, I think we totally can.
yeah, it's all very sad.
It is. It's sad for everyone
And
and
what
so
a-
unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, like it's so unnecessary. All of this drama could have been skipped if he was just allowed to marry Camilla.
Totally.
And then somehow all of this weird cult family, they're the boss of Australia. It's so
Yeah.
weird.
I know, and I think like we kind of accept, and probably even more so like in the UK. Again, they're just kind of like, yeah, that's just how it is. That's how it's always been. But when you do step back a little bit and start to look at it, you're like, and they're in charge because they just were ages ago, and they've just kept it in the one family. Okay.
And do they actually have any power in a political sense? Like, I don't think they really do. Maybe they do in the Britain, but
they do.
Oh, yeah.
They've got the. It's basically ceremonial, but I think they do technically still have the power to sack the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
what do we know what Queen thinks about Albo?
Yeah.
Can she do it or is it the Governor General that can do it here?
Well, yeah, who's her representative?
Yeah, that's right. So I guess she could be like, get him out of here.
Yeah, but no, she never would.
No.
But I think it's just weird that she could.
Yeah.
It is weird that she could. It's weird that we have a Governor General. What do they do? Fly around.
They sort of just...
All the ceremonial stuff, I
They
think.
loiter.
They got... I know the last thing I heard about our Governor General, who I couldn't even name right now.
Not anymore, no.
Not since Quentin Bryce.
That's exactly what I was thinking, which is like an old reference.
Or the
isn't
old...
it?
and there was the army guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of, the army guy.
But...
He seemed all right.
The current one, I think, recently had to apologise for being in a TikTok video plugging a construction company.
Oh, yes. Was that that was the Governor General, yeah.
I think so,
I think you're right.
That was our Governor General.
That's
God,
embarrassing.
we are an embarrassing
Yeah,
nation.
it's so strange.
Good Lord.
He's like, I didn't know they were going to put it on TikTok or Instagram or
What do you
something.
think when you filmed a video?
You got to be careful these days. I'm TikToking you guys now.
Yeah.
And Instagramming you.
Everyone's always TikToking.
Always be talking.
Always be talking, always be ticking.
ABT.
Yep, ABT.
ABTT. So the press catch on to this courtship and they start visiting her at work at her childcare centre. But at that stage, it's like one or two reporters. It's not crazy. She is very, very polite to them and doesn't hate it. She's very gracious and says, yes, I'm, seeing Sir.
Yes, sir, and I.
And it's fine. And then they just kind of let her go. They don't really hassle her too
Oh
much
my
at
God, they
this
let her
stage.
go.
That's nice.
Isn't that so nice of the Paps?
But
With
they didn't hound her. It was like
Yeah.
one or two people loitering, asking for a comment, and then she gets in her cute little car.
Yeah, just a couple of people loitering outside of a daycare centre. That's cool.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
You can see why that sort of perception of like the people's princess, and she's an every woman, and because she's working in a childcare centre and she's living like a pretty normal middle class kind of life, even though she comes from wealth.
Yeah, exactly.
And she is a lady.
And the press cannot, and they try to dig up dirt on her. Like they can't find a single thing she's done wrong. There's no again, maybe because this is pre-smartphones and TikToks.
And
but
she'd
there's
hardly
no,
been outside.
Yeah.
And she hasn't really been outside of a sheep farm. in 20 years.
Yeah.
But there's no like scandals or stories of her even like getting drunk. There's just nothing.
Yeah.
She's just like this really innocent. And then probably because of her age, she has
Totally.
no life experience.
She hasn't had time to have a
to be
feral night
scandalous.
out. But also, like, if the media can't find anything, that also means the royal family have looked and didn't
Oh,
find
and they would have
anything
loved
either.
that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and again, they of course have their connections with the media, so they're like, "You bloody dig up some dirt on
Yeah.
this."
She's
young
a blank
woman."
slate. We love this about her.
Exactly, that's what they saw her as.
Yuck.
But the thing about having no experience with relationships is that it makes it hard to notice when you're in a shit one, as Diana will find out. She happily and kind of naively went along with these family-controlled dates. He was still always the center of attention. And the dynamic sounds like Diana, who is still just 19, naive and quite sensitive, has that childhood loneliness experience that she is bringing to the table. And it sounds like she just thought he was this like sad dude in his 30s with no mates. She was like, oh, you're kind of sad and your family are kind of cold to you. I relate to that.
Yeah.
Like, that's sort of the vibe. But during this courtship of 13 dates, Charles starts sleeping with Camilla again.
Cool.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of time. If you don't nail him down within 13 dates, as if he's not going to have a wandering eye.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
Yeah.
normal.
Come on, ladies. You got to give it up by date 12.
Come on.
I'm surprised they didn't have like a little cupboard woman in the...
A cupboard woman.
A cupboard woman, you know. For I'm going to shut up.
I'd love, I have no, what is a cupboard woman? You two look like, is this a thing that people know
It's
of?
a woman thing and we're not going to share with you.
You're not allowed to know.
Do all women have a cupboard woman?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of us were one. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. You guys have to interrupt me. Okay, so Charles and Camilla are shagging again. You know, those two knew that they were doomed romantically. Charles kind of shrugs, chooses Diana. So even Camilla herself was part of and she's admitted to this, part of this royal conversation to say, yes, Diana's great for you.
Wow.
While she's
wow.
fucking him. It is.
And married to somebody else.
And married to somebody else. And everyone's like, this is a completely normal thing that we're doing.
Hey, Dee, question.
Yes.
How did Camilla get the nickname Fergie?
I'm not going to dignify that with a response.
It just seems like a bit of a leap to me. It's
yeah.
like Camilla Parker Bowles, how do you get Fergie out of that?
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
These are two separate women.
You know, nicknames. Oh,
Fergie was her cupboard woman.
Oh, good Lord. I'm ignoring you actively. And on February the 6th, 1981, Charles proposes. Would you like to guess how he proposes?
I'm going to say indifferently and in a not romantic way at all.
I'm going to guess pebbles at the window,
Ooh.
boom box over the head.
Yeah, what song?
But it's 1981.
1981.
What else could it be but one of the hits from then?
Yes, exactly.
A gramophone?
A gramophone song.
The gramophone song.
A gramophone song. 1981.
yeah.
Yeah, ancient times.
Oh,
back
yeah,
when
yeah.
gramophones
Gramophones.
were
Did they
around.
have boom boxes though? What
Surely.
was in between?
In 1981, they would have
Record
had boom
players?
boxes.
That's I know, but
That's
are
a
they
gramophone.
portable?
Boom boxes
Good
were
point.
classic 80s stuff, surely.
81?
Oh, okay. Early 80s. I'm not sure.
Sure, yeah, I reckon. Probably. So that's what you reckon.
And I reckon that they were
Rose
playing
petals?
Pseudo Echo's Funky Town.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Oh, that's the most romantic song,
Yeah.
Yeah.
famously.
That's how I was
So
proposed to.
actually, Matt, you couldn't be more wrong.
It was one of Pseudo Echo's other songs.
So here's a direct quote from Diana about the proposal. Oh God, my accent.
You can do it.
Thank you. I arrived at Windsor Castle around 5 o'clock. He sat me down and said, "I've missed you so much," but there was nothing tactile about him. He wasn't even looking at me. It was extraordinary. But I'd never had a boyfriend, so I didn't have anything to go by. And he said, "So, will you marry me?" And I laughed. And I thought, is this a joke? And he said, he said he was deadly serious. And I said, oh, okay. And a voice said to me inside, "You won't ever be queen, but you'll have a tough role." So I said, yes, I love you so much. I love you so much, Charles. And he said, sure, whatever love means.
Oh,
Couple of red flags there.
Okay, point him out to
I
me
can't
because
see
I'm
one.
not seeing anything. Yeah, what do you reckon?
Well, she thought he was joking. That's rude. He just proposed to her. And if she laughs when I propose, it's off.
Yeah,
so
right.
I think Charles really missed a couple of red flags there.
Okay.
If someone proposed to me as a bit,
yeah.
I would laugh. Like, that's funny.
Okay, well, quick question. Will you marry me?
I'm laughing. But it's legally binding. This is
your
legally
heart,
binding.
your heart.
It's taken me so long to build up the courage to do that, over an hour. And
Okay, so the thing is, there's that's not just Diana retroactively making this story up, because there's an interview not long before their wedding with the two of them, and they're asked about like, what's it like to be in love? You guys are going to get married. Like, here's their opportunity to like do their PR stuff and be like, yeah, we're great. And they're sitting there next to each other like zombies. No physical affection. Neither of them are smiling. And Charles says this again in this stiff, weird way. Sure, whatever love means. He says it again, like he actively is saying that he doesn't love her.
That is so odd.
So weird.
he wants to know what love is, and he wants her to show him. Maybe that was the song that was
That's
played.
probably it.
Yeah.
That's what was playing, which is why she was laughing.
Yeah.
Because that's
She's
funny.
like, I'm not going to be able to do this.
Yeah.
So, but she did, in whatever reason, seem to care about him. They both had lonely childhoods. She had classic I'll fix him complex, and, you know, whatever, we've been there. So now they're engaged. Diana is almost officially a part of the royal family. She starts planning her new life at the palace. But the thing is, nobody welcomes her or shows her around or says like, hey, this is where the bathroom is and this is where we sit for afternoon tea. And like a single butler points and says, that's your room. And she's just left to like wander around this place that she's going to live in.
There's no orientation.
No orientation, and not Charles either. Like, no one shows her around. It's
So
just
she's just there as like a pawn, isn't she?
That's
an
just
accessory, like a
initiation.
prop.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a prop.
It's funny that even the butler, the single butler, he weren't even...
Yeah, he's like, over there, piss off.
The married butlers were busy, but he was like, no, I'm not going to even give you any.
Yeah.
It's so strange. Like, surely the butler's like, oh, cool. It's a new person.
Yeah,
Well-
let me show you around.
She seems more normal than the weirdos that are here, but they're in the cult.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. And she, like, over the years does try to talk to the staff who seem more normal, but they're told not to interact socially.
right.
So they're like running away from her. And she's like, I need a friend. It's really sad.
She's like, I'm just asking how your day's going. Okay, don't worry about it.
I mean, in the royal family's defense, do they need to show her the bathroom? They'd be like 300. Pick a door. Have a piss. You know?
And if
In
you get it
the
wrong,
royal family's defense.
if you get it wrong, there's like 1,000 staff members that will clean up your piss.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got a
exactly.
50-50 chance. And if you're wrong...
you
you
meet
know.
a cupboard woman.
Yeah, you meet a cupboard
You
woman.
open the wrong door
And
there's
she
a
might
cupboard
tell you
woman.
where the actual bathroom is.
Yeah.
She'd be the friendliest
After
one of
she-
all.
After you've pissed
Cleans
on
the piss
Yeah.
off her dress.
Oh, God. So they have all these, as you would expect, bizarrely specific rules and rituals in terms of cutlery and clothing and how to act and even what to say and how to say it. None of it seems real.
They have a
I feel
specific spoon for soup,
Yeah.
for instance.
Like, they would hate improv
Ugh.
so much. They'd be like, this is not right.
You got to eat soup a certain way.
Yeah.
I forget if
way?
it's like, it's a
Away, I
way.
I
think.
think
Yeah.
it's a way.
That's a good way for me to remember it. There's a certain way. It's a way.
Away.
But also, I don't know if that's right.
That's
I'm
what I was
basing that
taught.
on Beauty and the Beast when she
Okay.
ends up drinking it from the bowl.
Yeah, because that's
okay.
what I would do instinctively.
As a beast yourself.
As a beast.
As a fellow beast.
Hey, I'm a beast.
It's one of the best things about moving out of home is now I can eat soup however I want.
Yeah.
My mum can't be like, away, put the spoon away. I'm like, I'm going to just shovel it into my face however I want. I'm going to use a fork.
you
Shut
grew
up,
up in
mum.
You can
What
use
a
a straw, a silly straw, one of
Yeah.
those big wacky ones.
Have a lot of fun, burn my mouth.
That's
Yeah.
affluent East for you, telling you, away.
Away.
Eat the soup away, Jessica.
Yeah, that's how my mum sounds.
So from the very start, she's an outsider, right? She doesn't know how to act or who to even ask for help. Again, there's no orientation manual. In the in
There's
the
no
book.
O week.
Yeah.
There's no O
You
week.
need O week.
There's no like Airbnb like house rule manual.
Yeah.
There's none of that. No Wi-Fi password.
I love it when you stay in an Airbnb and they've got like a full-on folder with like
I
cafe
fucking
recommendations,
Oh,
how to use
that
the
shit up.
heater. You know,
Yeah.
it can be a bit tricky. So what you want to do is you want to hold the on button for 3 seconds. Then that's what you need.
It makes you feel at home.
Exactly. You're
Mi
like,
casa es su casa.
that's right.
Or however.
Me castle su castle is what should have happened.
That's what should have been said
I think-
multiple times.
I think
'Cause it's
we're
Me palace is
funny.
su
Su
palace.
I think we're behind America, I reckon, with Airbnbs. You see on Twitter, they're talking about it like they've just lost the passion, Airbnb hosts over
Yeah.
there. Where I think we still get the folders and stuff, but they're like, all right, you're not allowed to use this room
Yeah.
after this time,
Yeah.
and all these full-on rules.
Turn
for some
all the
reason.
lights
really?
off by 10 p.m.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
sometimes like that if you ever, like, I'm not a rich person, but if you ever only stay in a room at
Yeah.
an Airbnb place, like that kind of stuff is.
That
kind
makes
of-
me very anxious.
I
to do
feel
that.
so uncomfortable
Yeah,
doing that.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I automatically, first thing I do when I'm looking at Airbnb is tick entire place.
Well, it must be nice.
Yeah.
That must
What's
be
it
very
like
nice.
over there, madam, princess?
Well,
I
with
can't
your
hear
soup
you from my
spoons.
throne.
Yes, and I'm sleeping in my car.
Yeah.
I think I go right back to share house days where it's only going out into the open areas when no one else is around. You can hear
Yeah.
they've left, and you're like, okay, great.
Yeah, you're
I'm
like
going to quickly make some
waiting.
toast. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Ugh, awful.
I never want to live in a share house again. Ugh. Anyway, this is basically what she's moved into, like a cold share house
Yeah.
full of freaks.
Full of freaks.
Been there.
Where's where does she have a little, what number on the phone does she press for room service?
Well, that's the thing.
You know,
No
I don't
one's
know.
telling her.
It should be in a manual.
Again, manual.
I'll stay in my room, but you got to bring me food.
Yeah, at least give me something. In that biography in the book, Andrew Morton, the author,
In whose words, though?
in her own words,
In her own words, okay.
he describes it essentially, which is a good summary, as she's been given this incredibly important job with no training.
Yeah.
And also during this time, pre-wedding, Charles keeps going off on like holidays. Like now he's locked her in. He's like, cool, we don't have to actually have a relationship.
Spend
I
any
can keep
time
shagging
together.
Camilla, going hunting and shit. Diana ends up chatting with the staff and hears whispers that Charles is sleeping with Camilla. And by whispers, one of those is literally a bracelet that Camilla gets sent to the house and Charles opens in front of Diana.
And the bracelet is engraved with,
Thanks.
let's keep fucking.
Yeah, thanks for the bone sesh.
Thanks
Not-
for the bones.
Not that different. It
Was
does
it
have
like a
an
nickname?
engraving. I should have written it down, but it's like an in-joke
Yeah.
between them. So he opens this thing in front of Diana and is like, he. Right?
Yeah, that's messed up.
He is awful.
Yes, he sucks. That's what I mean by he sucks. And he just has no idea, I think, like you say earlier, Matt, like of how to be a person.
Yeah.
And how to talk to another person and no idea of the consequences of this kind of behavior. He's just like in a petri dish. You know?
Yeah.
He's like a little freak.
I wonder if they've learnt it all because of the way Melissa Margle or whatever was
Fuck, you're
welcomed into
good.
into the family.
He's so good with names.
You're amazing with names.
Melissa
Your
Margle.
recall
Well, I know
is like-
her because I've seen Suits. I used to watch
yeah,
Suits.
yeah, you love Melissa
You know it's
Margle's
not
acting
Melissa,
work.
though, don't you?
Yes.
Meghan Markle.
Meghan Markle.
Yeah.
Meghan Markle. What a great name.
But,
You can't-
almost as good as
Ew.
Melissa Margle.
Almost as good as Melissa Margleton.
Almost.
It's perfect for. I mean, it already sounds so posh. It's
Doesn't
perfect for the posh accent. Meghan Markle.
Meghan Markle.
Meghan Markle.
Introducing Meghan Markle.
Welcome, Meghan Markle.
Welcome, Meghan
And
Markle.
they'd probably
And
say
Fergie.
Megan, and she's like, no, it's Megan, but okay.
Yeah, is it Megan? Americans say Megan.
Americans say Megan.
Which sounds posher to me than Megan.
It
Megan.
sounds weird.
Megan.
Megan.
Craig's their best one. How
I
they say
hate
Craig.
I can't
Craig.
wait. Craig. Egg.
Craig
God.
is so funny.
Your name shouldn't rhyme with egg. No name should.
That
Cop
is-
that, Greg's out there.
Oh, no. I'm sorry, Craig.
No,
Greg
no.
is fine.
No, you've made your rules.
And
Greg's one of
and
my
I'm standing
favourite
by
names.
them.
Greg and Gary, the two great names.
Yeah, great names.
Yeah, so Diana's just feeling super, super alienated by Charles, by the family. This is also when her eating disorder behaviors get really bad. And I should flag, I'm not going to talk about any of the specifics because that's unhelpful. But it's really bad. And it's very clearly a coping mechanism. Charles just stops courting her and showing any interest in her. Now they're engaged.
See, that's the thing.
It's a done deal.
That's where so many relationships start to fail, is because, you know, you settle down, you might live together, and you stop dating. You gotta keep dating each other.
Interesting.
You know, do things together, activities, go to the movies, talk to one another.
I think that there's this weird thing in society where, I don't know, it's probably phasing out, but you sort of grow up thinking, you know, when you're an adult, you get married. And that's like seen as sort of the end.
Yeah.
Or you get married and have kids, and that's seen as the end. So I guess that's what people go, all right, finish the relationship now. We just sort of coast to the end.
Yeah. Tick, tick, I've gotten married and I've had kids. I don't have to do anything to nourish those relationships whatsoever.
No. They're just like there.
It's not like I need to work even harder now that things are way more full on.
Yeah.
It's the opposite. No, you do less and less. So in the days leading up to the wedding, actually both Charles and Diana are freaking out. She is crying pretty much daily. He's panicking. He's even saying to friends, I don't know if I want to do this. She's saying to her sister, I don't know if I want to go through with this. And her sister...
The one who dated Charles?
Yes.
Incredible.
Do you know what her response is? Well, your face is already on the tea towels.
Oh, a good point, actually, Sarah. Yeah. Nah, that is a good point.
It is a good point, because how much pressure would you feel if you were engaged and there was already merch?
Yeah.
That is so funny. How tacky the royal family is that there's tea towel merch.
Yeah.
Yes. For a place with so much money and an institution, there's like every street corner is selling tea towels with Diana's face on it to like mop a dish.
Yeah. It's very odd.
Not even nice merch.
Yeah.
But I like to buy it when I see it in an op shop.
Oh, yeah,
Not
you
gonna
must.
lie.
You must.
You like to buy the dye stuff?
Oh, yeah. I like to buy the dye. You like to buy the dye?
I love
you must
to buy
buy
the
the
dye.
dye.
I'm a guy who likes to buy the dye.
We're writing a Seinfeld episode all of a sudden.
It feels more like a Dr. Seuss book, actually.
Yeah, it's not good. This is a bad draft.
I did buy the Meghan Markle, thank you, and her boyfriend.
Uh-huh. His name is...
The Prince.
Yeah, that's right.
Which one?
Harry.
Well, his name is Henry.
Which is short for
Harry.
Henry.
Melissa and Henry, my favourite royal couple.
I love them.
But I bought when we were in England last doing a tour for this show. At the airport, I bought a box of tea that was Meghan and Harry.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute. Did it have a pun? Was there like a pun?
I can't remember. I'll have to dig
Did you
it
just
out.
want tea, or did you
No,
buy
I just
it?
thought it was so funny to have
You
it.
accidentally bought the royal one.
Yeah. Like, oh, shit.
Over there, that's all you can get.
£50.
It's harder to get one that doesn't have the fucking royals on it, to be honest.
Dilma.
Yeah, you think you got a Lipton and you turn it around and there's the Queen.
Another Queen tea.
They've done that to our money over here, but over there it's everything.
Right. So while both of these, I was going to say children, she's a child, technically, she's 19. While they're both freaking out and not really wanting to do this, of course they go through with it, and the wedding happens on the 29th of July, 1981. And I'm interested, have you guys ever seen photos or videos from the wedding?
Bits and pieces, but I'm imagining more like the because it's always such a big procession, like into the church and out of the church. That's what I'm imagining. People on the streets and stuff. Not so much the ceremony itself. I can think of.
But it's this enormous like parade.
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
a weird festival. She is wearing, it was the 80s.
It's not the best.
The big puffy shoulders, a quilted dress that was 30 feet long. Like that's too long.
That's too long.
In my opinion.
How do you walk like that?
You don't. At all.
It's too much.
It would be heavy.
Yeah.
And like you say, just so many people like packed around the palace. Everything is huge.
And it would have
over the
been
top.
super influential as well, right? Like everyone all of a sudden would have been going, I want the Diana dress for my wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
the big
yeah.
puff shoulders and... It would have been like a grand final day. Everyone's lining up to attend this event.
Our version...
That's our
Australia's version of a royal wedding is the grand final parade, which happens the day before through the streets of Melbourne.
Beautiful time.
Yes, beautiful time.
Bit of culture.
Bit of culture.
Oh, you want to get a bit of culture?
A bit of culture here.
Yeah, well, you better go check out the grand final day parade, where the players ride in the back of utes down Swanston Street.
And nay a tea towel inside.
Yeah.
One cool thing to note, though, is that Diana requested the vows be changed from love, cherish, and obey to just love and cherish.
Oh, that's sick.
Which is pretty cool because even though she was young and intimidated, she was like, no, I still believe in this and kept a bit of part of
That's
myself.
awesome. That feels
and
like...
they allowed that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
surprising.
So that's pretty cool, I reckon.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Especially, as you say, at a young age and it's hard to sort of speak up for yourself.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I'm not saying obey.
It feels like you hear obey now and you're like, well, that feels gross. But back then, that feels like that would have been pretty bold.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially because she was calling him sir and stuff. She was obeying.
Yeah.
him,
Yeah.
like in action.
But I'm not going to say it.
I'm not going to say it.
I'll do it, but I won't say it.
I won't get into it again, but Diana later reported that she hadn't slept or eaten for 2 days leading up to the wedding from stress. So I don't know actually how she did it. The big fanfare, the speeches, the after party. I think it's called a reception.
After party.
Because she would have just been feeling awful.
Yeah.
And this is a fun guessing game. Do you guys want to guess how many people across the world watched the wedding?
It was a big
Ooh,
one.
Yeah,
and don't say something
300,000?
like 750 billion or something.
No,
Like, don't be like those people.
we used to do that, and I reckon occasionally like, oh, big number, wow, 10 billion?
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
we're like,
no, it's like
oh,
10,000,
actually-
but yeah.
No, I reckon, 300, 400,000?
You reckon 500,000?
Wait, is this... Yeah, I'm just thinking that. I
Yeah,
think.
this is like worldwide televised.
Oh, no, more people watch TV back then.
I'm going like 2 or 3 million.
So when I said don't say 750 million, that was the amount of people. 750 million people
What?
tuned in. We must have been so culturally deprived
Yeah,
in
well,
the 80s.
I reckon Australia back then only had the 3 channels.
True.
And it probably
Which
was on every
channel
channel.
was it? Yeah,
and they
probably
all
all
would have
three of
been
them.
tuned in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
7. Whoa.
Love a simulcast.
Mile. Like just
That's incredible.
bonkers.
Yeah, you're right. I think with like Harry and Meghan's wedding got a lot of. I mean, I watched that.
I watched it.
But it surely was less because there's more on. There's more stuff to do.
There's more people.
True, but
and
like
we
you-
aren't as
you're
invested
not as
in the
interested?
royals as
Yeah.
well.
I mean, I could not give a fuck, but I was at a party with it on the TV. So, like...
Yeah. I was away for the weekend and got back to the house where we were staying and like put it on and watched it for the night.
Yeah, I was at a mate's for dinner and then we were like, oh, this is happening. Let's put it on.
Put it on. Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's not like we had gathered there for that.
Yeah, but then it's just a happy coincidence.
A great coincidence.
That's incredible.
And it doesn't sound like the wedding was fun at all because, again, of these weird rituals and stuff. Charles and Diana were constantly like, right, it's this time you have to sit in this chair and wear this thing. Like there was no fun or spontaneity and they look fucking miserable in the photos.
Dee, I've just Googled Harry and Meghan wedding viewing numbers.
Yes?
According to economictimes.com, an estimated 1.9 billion.
What?
I mean, they definitely pad out those sort of numbers, but...
Billion?
It's just because there's more people, I reckon.
Fucking
And maybe
hell.
easier to stream it or something?
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
more
And here I am
TVs.
like, surely less people
I
watched
know.
it. They
I
had
was like,
stuff
we've
on.
got, like,
but then
culturally, we don't care
all
about the
three of us
royals.
watched it.
Yeah, no, that's what...
It's true.
If I'm watching it, then...
Yeah, and I'm
Everyone's
pretty sure
watching.
I saw William and Kate's as well.
And although I do bet
Didn't
a lot
watch
of
that
people listening on, I didn't fucking watch it. They're yelling at their iPods. But,
Yeah,
well,
probably.
of course. 1.9 billion's on everyone in the world.
Wow.
Sorry, iPods?
Yeah, yeah.
iPods, yeah.
So the listeners of this podcast
They listen on iPods.
listen
and-
on iPods exclusively?
Yeah, and yeah, we made a bad deal a few years ago.
yeah.
And now when they disagree with us, they yell at their iPods.
Yeah. You can only get this show on iPods.
Yeah.
That's why I've never heard of either of you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
That's why I thought it was called Make Up a Name.
Make up a name.
Yeah, so terrible day, not fun. Diana later said, I'll do the accent. The day I walked down the aisle at St. Paul's Cathedral, I felt that my personality was taken away and I was taken over by the royal machine.
Whoa.
Which was an actual machine.
Wow.
Yeah,
A
big
robot.
robot.
Yep.
I am the royal machine. That's all it says. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite useless,
Doesn't
actually.
show you where the toilet is.
Nah. Can't make you food.
Nah.
Can't do anything.
Nah. But it looks cool.
It
does look really
it looks
cool.
regal.
It looks very futuristic
cool
as well.
Yeah, and it's got a little crown on it. Love
Yeah.
that
Oh,
detail.
cute, little
Yeah.
robot crown.
It's pretty cute.
Camels are terrified of it.
Oh my god, so scared.
Laser beams in their eyes constantly. Okay. Right. Married life. Now that they're married, Diana becomes really focused on actually trying to make the relationship work.
Bless.
Bless. But it's barely begun, and he's already off on holidays, seeing friends, meeting up with Camilla. And she talks about crying most days during their honeymoon because he was off just living a life like he wasn't on a honeymoon.
Oh.
Crazy.
So, is the belief that even once they were married, he was still sleeping with Camilla?
100%.
Oh,
It's unclear
and
if he
she's
ever
married
really
too.
stopped. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's just like she just had no support network to be like, this is not on. Her support network was like, you're on the tea towels. Just
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
and
put
she
up with it.
did kind of fall out with her family as well. Like she hadn't spoken with her mum in a few years before she died and stuff. Like she had kind of fallen out, so she really didn't have any support network. Exactly.
That's sad.
And everyone around her was just like, no, this is fine.
What about her old housemates? Would they sort of cut off, like the normies she was living with?
I think she stayed in touch with them, but given her now like weird obligations and stuff. Like,
Yeah, it's not that easy to just meet your friends for brunch.
No, she'd have to probably telegram the Queen.
Yeah.
It's a long process.
Be like, can I go for bottomless brunch?
And 6 months later, they're like, no.
No.
They're like, no, you put on some pants, please.
That's what bottomless brunch should be.
We do things differently in the royal family.
I would love that kind of bottomless brunch.
That'd be
Probably like at a
fun.
friend's house, not
Yeah.
at a cafe or
Not
something.
at a cafe. No.
But I would like that. It'd be so comfy and free.
Yeah.
You know what?
Oh.
You can do it, Jess. You can just begin your own little
I'm going
traditions.
to do it.
Yeah.
Just by myself.
yeah.
I'll set up
That's certainly fine. If you're by yourself, I think that is totally
That's
okay.
certainly fine.
set up a whole big brunch on the table, sit
Yeah.
down, have a great time.
So
Oh,
you're
sounds
organising a buffet.
A buffet for
yourself,
myself.
If I'm understanding.
Yeah, there's a
this
lot of food
correctly.
waste. A lot of food
Well, it
waste.
sounds like a
It's a
lot.
bad. Okay, I'm gonna revisit this idea at another time. I think.
It's good. We can workshop
Yeah.
that. So these crazy kids have to do a royal tour as part of this
Oh,
post-wedding ritual, and they are just exhausted. Diana is exhausted, barely eating, barely knows her husband, and isn't really given the opportunity to like hang out with him even. So it
Sounds like he wouldn't want to if he could.
He wouldn't want to. If anything, he was actively avoiding his wife. At this stage, this is when Diana becomes a little bit more extroverted when she's traveling around and interacting more with the people of the country that she's visiting or with the press as well. So this is when the media start being like, hey, this woman has a personality and she's kind of cool.
I think it's so funny that Charles gets bitter and jealous about it. He's
Yeah.
giving her no attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, he totally neglecting her, but also deeply jealous.
Yeah.
You could totally use her to your advantage.
Or, you know,
yeah, for
just
his
like
own image.
if you're not paying her any attention and you're treating her so poorly, how do you feel bad that she's talking to the press?
She's desperate
She's
for
desperate
social
to-
connection.
yeah.
She's just chatting and she's funny. Like she's really funny and making all these like funny little jokes to
Yeah.
the press, and they're like, oh, you're not like this stiff royal. Like you're actually pretty cool and funny, but still nice and respectful.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so that's sort of when this people's princess thing, people start really liking her because she's just a normal person.
And it's so true that if he was just doing it for putting up appearances and stuff, he would have been smart to just be like, oh wow, they hate me and they love her. This is good for me.
Yeah, totally.
No, way too insecure for that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like a comedy duo. The straight man's
Yeah.
always like, they're never the popular one because they're doing the work in the duo, and the funny one, it gets all the love. He could have just been the straight man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let Di be the funny one.
Overall,
Overall, the two
everybody
of you,
still likes the team.
Yeah.
You know?
you got a job to do.
Yeah.
You set her up. She knocks them down.
Exactly right.
Someone should have explained to them about like comedy duo dynamics,
Yeah.
really, but alas.
Ugh.
Now we have to talk about Balmoral. I've written.
We
Oh,
have to.
We have
must.
to.
We
I've,
simply must talk
I've
about
actually
Balmoral.
bolded that for
Okay.
some reason.
Now, Balmoral.
this
I
is
know
just
that
gonna
You
word.
gonna
would
tell
know
you.
this from The Crown.
Okay.
So this is was it in The Crown or was it in the recent movie Spencer with Kirsten Stewart?
I haven't seen that.
I haven't
Love
seen that
Is
either.
it good?
Oh, I loved it. Yeah.
From little clips I've seen, I was like, bloody hell, Kristen Stewart, you're doing pretty
It
well.
was really good. And it
Yeah.
was more of like a psychological thriller than anything to actually
Oh,
do
wow.
with Diana.
Yeah,
Like,
cool.
it could have been about anyone in a way. Anyway, that's our movie review podcast. Balmoral is the royal home in Scotland that the royal family go to for 6 full weeks every year. And it sounds horrible. Every minute of the day
I was
is
just
planned.
thinking 6-week holiday. How cool's
The
that?
entire family
I mean, with that, I'd love to go away with my entire family, but
for
yeah,
6 weeks.
yeah, I'd be sick
No way.
Nah.
3 days max.
in a
Yeah.
castle.
My own father says that. 3 days max. He goes, what's the fucking thing? Fish and guests start
What?
to smell after 3 days or something. You know, it's like 3 days is it. Which
Is that
very
true?
funny. Fish?
Well, I don't know much about food preparation and
Yeah,
storage.
neither. I don't eat
so
fish,
that-
so I don't know.
Ah.
yeah,
but
he's
anyway.
leaving it out in the sun.
Yeah, he's living a fish
We're
out
not
for
doing
3
6
days.
weeks.
I think in a small, like a place that, you know, normal people could afford for a holiday for 6 weeks, that would be a nightmare. But in a big castle, if
Yeah.
you're allowed to get out and about, then, but yeah, if every minute's
But
planned,
you're not. That's,
no.
Yeah,
every
Then that
minute
would be
is
awful.
planned and scheduled, and there's like itineraries to the nth degree.
Ugh.
It's every minute of the day is formal. You're never allowed to just chill, and you have to change outfits multiple times a day. It's basically once every 2 hours you have to change your clothes.
Why?
And hair.
Well, it's the same as the
Don't
cutlery.
question this stuff.
You know, well, you
guys.
need to be wearing your lunch dress or your lunch suit, and the
Yeah.
the guys have different color suits they need to wear.
But nobody's there. It's just a family holiday.
I know. That's why it's so.
fucking
It's even more
batshit.
bonkers.
Yeah, you
You're
think
doing
you'd go
it just for each other.
Yeah, so strange.
Is
Just keeping
anyone
everyone in
enjoying
line.
it? Is anyone like, yay, I get to get changed again?
And I'm sure you can't outfit repeat. So it's how
Oh,
many
no.
how much how many clothes are you taking?
This is how
Like,
it
I
has
love to
always
dress up,
been
but
done.
that stresses
That's-
me.
no,
that
that's
gives me
horrendous.
anxiety, imagining doing that all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like you'd never actually have time. You would just be getting changed by the time you come to the table. They go, next outfit. And
Yeah.
you've got to go back.
You'd slowly become a cupboard girl.
He's
You'd
just
be
trying to
s-
figure out what a cupboard girl is. Just
I
by
still don't really know.
throwing out guesses. We'll never tell.
So of course Diana has to go to this 6-week outfit rotation thing and hates it. It's literally, she describes it as mainly her role was to sit silently and politely while the queen has a rotating, sometimes she has guests over who are usually rich old men who will stand up and just recite speeches about shit that they know about
Right.
poetry or politics or like nightmare. And
Oh.
it's cold in Scotland. It's cold, famously.
Oh,
So there's all these unspoken rules. For example, if the Queen wants to go for a walk around the garden, first, Charles has to go out and inspect the garden to make sure that there's no other guests or staff present so that she can be alone
Because she does it nude.
because it's a nudie run. She has a bottomless bra.
every day at 3:00, Charles has to inspect the ground.
And he has to do it nude as well.
his mother's
Nude.
nude run.
You go nude and then I go nude.
That's okay. Why does Charles have to do it? Why can't a staff member do it?
Well, Dee
she's
hasn't mentioned it,
nude.
but first a butler goes nude
Yeah.
to make sure it's okay if Charles goes nude, to make sure it's okay if Liz goes nude.
Oh my god.
Quite a process.
Yeah.
At the end of the sun's set by the time she can't even have her garden walk.
Yeah, she's like, I can't see shit out here.
Yeah.
Want to look at
Nips would be hard as well.
Hard
like
as rocks.
in the Balmoral hard as rocks. The Queen with hard as rocks nips.
Shuffling around in the dark.
Queen has nipples.
Yeah, I know. I'm just
Isn't that
picturing it now.
weird?
It's wild.
That's so weird. The Queen's got nips.
I can't believe that.
She has to put on a bra.
And the other funny thing is she was as old then as she is now, I
Yeah.
assume.
Yeah.
She was born old.
Yeah.
She's
in
been
my
old
opinion.
for about 90 years.
Hello.
Hello.
She has
my
been the same age for about
nips
50 years.
Yeah.
Are
Hey?
as hard as
100%.
rocks.
My royal nipples.
Oh, thine royal nips.
Butler, please. Soften thy nips.
Okay, so most of the time, Charles is off hunting, playing polo, doing stuff that he's allowed to do that Diana's not. And this is normal to him. This 6 weeks is normal to him because he's like a little petri dish freak. And everyone is saying, no, this is totally normal to Diana, who is internally freaking out.
Ugh.
Oh, yeah, so she tries to talk to the servants. She's like, hey, at least can we have a chat? And they're like, I'm sorry, I'm not even allowed to like socialize with you. So she's alone, constantly alone. And another insane rule is that they don't turn the heating on.
Oh.
No.
You're the richest people in the world.
Richest people in the world in one of the most freezing countries in the world, no heating. So
What?
she's
But
and skinny. So she is fucking freezing.
But they have heating.
Yes.
Why don't they turn it on?
one of those weird rituals. Seriously.
It's okay.
It's like one of those don't question it.
They're not
with
sure.
any of
It was
this.
because
Yeah, no one knows.
yeah, all those things come from one time the king he ran hot.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
I run hot. So no, we don't have
We
it.
don't
So
need
everyone's
the heating.
freezing. That's just what we do. And that
this was
gets
probably
passed on.
before electricity.
Yeah.
So it was like, don't light a fire when King Henry's around or whatever. And now the Queen's like, we must all be freezing.
Yeah.
Because
that's so
King
funny.
Henry was.
Why? Oh, I don't know. That's just how it's always been.
Oh, that sucks. Nah,
It's crazy.
pump that heater.
Diana keeps trying to bond with Charles, but by all accounts, including Charles's own autobiography, when he and Diana would talk in these early weeks as a married couple, he would lecture her about art and philosophy.
Oh,
Cool.
great. That's great.
So he enjoyed sitting her down and telling her about the world.
As a feminist, I love the idea of Diana getting an education in that way. I think that's
True.
so great because I think women should learn things
I
as a
think they
feminist.
should be
I
allowed
believe
to
that.
know about art
And
and
I think
literature.
who better to explain it to you than a man?
What an ally!
Your husband. Hey?
Totally
I
not
never
natural.
really thought of him in that way, but yeah, Charles is a feminist icon.
He
Yeah.
is the original feminist icon, I would say, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's this one story about them having a laugh together, a single story about them having a laugh.
That's nice. I can't wait to hear this story.
In
This
this
is going to be
6 weeks.
This
funny.
is going to be so Matt.
Notoriously a difficult laugh, Charles.
This is going to be so
It's gonna be
funny.
great.
I
Can't
hope
wait.
you guys, you're obviously seated, but prepare for your sides to split.
Oh no.
All the royals go to the Highland Games, which is this big sporting thing, and the national anthem is being sung. And during this time, Charles and Diana are having a giggle. They find something funny, and they're just like hee hee. And the Queen turns around and gives them a death stare. And from there, Charles doesn't talk to her for the rest of the day.
Well, it
because
was
his
her
mum-
fault, wasn't it?
Glared at him for laughing with his
Wow.
wife.
He has a
she
very strange relationship with his mum.
She drew him
it's
into
fine.
temptation.
Yeah.
The giggles.
How dare you giggle?
Yeah, it's so fucked.
I love a giggle.
Oh, if you can get on a real good
a
giggle.
little secret.
I love a,
A
I love a,
little
I love a
aside,
giggle when
you know?
you shouldn't be laughing.
They're the best.
That's the best one. My brother and
ones.
I cracked up at a funeral one time. It's one of my happiest memories.
Once you start, you can't stop.
It was so funny.
It's like
I remember in
Pringles.
primary school they played The Last Post over the speakers.
Oh, funny song.
I mean, it's a bugle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me not to laugh.
It's a bit funny.
Yeah, and we're children.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, bringing it back.
It's good stuff. So he didn't talk to her all day because they had a
Because
laugh
his
and
mum
he got
was
in
like,
trouble.
shut the fuck up.
Well, in her defense, the song was about her. Pay attention.
Pay attention to the song about me.
They're telling God to save me.
That's pretty good.
That's good.
His queen is very good. I will say that.
Yeah. You know, you were doubting yourself.
We've set a low standard if that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Don't you talk down about yourself.
So there's no honeymoon period. It's doomed from the start.
Great.
So, of course,
They didn't
what's
really
the
have an
next step?
engagement period.
There was no courtship, engagement, honeymoon.
Maybe that one giggle was the honeymoon period.
Yeah, that was it.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah.
It was over before it began.
The honeymoon period's different for everyone. For them, it was one fleeting giggle.
That's true. We shouldn't judge. Every
know?
relationship is different.
Exactly right.
So what do these crazy kids do? They get pregnant. When
But
you're in
I'm curious as to how, and I don't. You don't have to explain, but I just mean like he avoids her like the plague.
yes.
They never interact at all.
He
You're
was
telling me they fucking?
what? No, what I think
assume
happened
it would
was
have been like a one-time.
Yeah.
We need to make a baby.
very
Yeah.
fertile. No,
Strategic.
I think Charles asked her to smuggle some semen into the castle.
Oh, Matt.
Every woman is a castle. I've always said that. Your body's a temple unless
Yeah.
you're a woman, then it's a castle.
That's castle.
Boys are temples.
Good Lord.
Wow. Okay. So I'm
So is that I'm never sure where a line is, but I feel like I crossed yours there. D, is that fair
No,
to say?
I enjoyed it.
I like that.
I
It didn't
enjoyed it a
look
lot.
like
Just
it.
like I was like, I can't riff back on this and then be proud of myself, which is why I remained silent.
Yeah.
So,
So I'm wondering if there must have been like pressure from Lizzie to be like
100%.
because Charles is the heir to the throne,
Yes.
so then he needs to make an heir as well.
Yeah.
There's
it's like,
no aphrodisiac like your mother-in-law pressuring you
Yeah,
to
I
bone.
love that.
Yeah. Oh, constantly.
Yeah.
Diana has a really awful pregnancy. She's sick all the time, really bad nausea. She's still expected to go to all these dumb social events. So these royal doctors swoop in and help her by giving her Valium.
Cool.
Classic crazy woman pills, which in Valium's defense are very fun, but she doesn't want them. She doesn't want to disappear, and she doesn't want to be a zombie pregnant woman and disappear from herself. She uses the fact that she's pregnant as an excuse to not be essentially sedated, and it tries essentially to muddle through this pregnancy. And less than a year after their wedding, Prince William is born in June 1982.
82.
By this
all
time,
these key events seem to happen in June and July. They just was she
Summer?
born in June and July?
Yes.
They were married in June or July.
I guess it's like a summer weddings are big.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There when they get sun like once or twice.
Summer births are big,
Summer births are
Summer
big.
births famously.
which
Yeah.
I guess means they're boning in
Christmas
autumn.
time.
Oh, Christmas time. They have 12-month
Ah.
gestation periods over there. No, 6 months. Oh, fuck. Whatever. Counting's hard.
Counting is hard.
And at this time, Charles and Diana are fighting all the time. And this is when they start properly lashing out at each other. She like throws shit at him. He calls her moody. But also she's like a 20-year-old new mum
Yeah.
with no support. Who wouldn't be moody?
It's so funny. After all this has happened, she's now the old age of 20.
Yeah.
I know.
Fuck.
Right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, she's a baby.
It's awful.
And basically has postnatal depression that's being ignored. Instead of trying to help her, Charles would do these weird things to lift her spirits and then walk away when it didn't work. And this is my favorite example. One time she was crying and he literally walked her into a room and put on a record of Supertramp really loudly.
Okay. That'd help.
Would it?
Yeah. For me, yeah. Love Supertramp.
Love Supertramp.
Oh,
What's a... Give
wrong.
me
Give
one
a
of their
little
songs.
bit.
Oh.
That's Supertramp.
Wrong audience then.
No. That's
so
batshit.
she didn't find that particularly useful.
Okay.
They fight a lot. She gets sassy, saying things like "You'll never be king," belittling him.
It's so funny to think that he's like played a song she doesn't like, and he's like, "Well, I've tried everything."
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
"Why aren't your spirits instantly lifted?"
Bitch.
Yeah, you bitch.
When I hear the
Pretty much.
tramp, I'm up and about.
Yeah.
Look at me
Lifts
dance.
out of any funk.
He sort of just starts to
Shuffling.
bop a little bit.
Hey? You like
Huh?
this?
Look at that.
You know, Supertramp are great. I'm not arguing that. Let's go on the record. We all love
All
and
love
adore
Supertramp.
Supertramp.
Supertramp,
beyond
we know
any other
at
band.
least that one song,
Yeah.
and probably more.
Probably.
More.
Don't they do that? Take a look at my girlfriend.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
That sounds similar
if
to
he
the one
played
Jessica
that,
said.
that'd be
Oh.
about Camilla.
Yeah, that's brutal, actually. Don't
So,
play that,
Don't
Charles.
play that one.
Piece of shit.
So all this time, she's trying to be a good parent, she loves being a mum. I mean, there's that. She really wants to be a good mum. And the Queen is starting to notice that Diana is less poised and more conversational with people that she interacts with in the media. She's funny and fun, and Lizzie does not like that and tells her off and is like, you need to be more formal.
It's so funny. It as well for the Queen. It's like, this is good for the whole family.
this is-
You're making the people give a shit about you again.
Yes. Like,
Although
they're
they
getting
obviously
more
already did, but
like positive press instead of just
Yeah.
like neutral, like propaganda press.
Yeah.
And the public, are loving her. She's a favorite. She's becoming like a celebrity as opposed to this pristine, untouchable thing. And Charles notices, as we mentioned earlier, how much more popular she is than him, and of course grows very resentful. And during this resentment period, they go on a royal tour to Australia when William was really little. You would have seen that in The Crown.
yeah.
Again, bringing everything back to The
Which I think
Crown.
they filmed in somewhere that did not look like Australia.
Yeah, it did not. It really didn't look anywhere like Australia.
Not that it doesn't really matter.
They didn't
but-
have Sydney Harbour Bridge or the Opera House in the background.
Oh, they probably green
Every
screened
time.
that. But
The
the
Graves Street to graffiti.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for, a tram.
Hello.
ding ding. No, they had.
Ways.
They had. Yeah, they were when they were meant to be in the outback. It was clearly like Argentina or something.
Oh, wow.
Clearly Argentina.
It was clearly Argentina.
Is your eye that good that you can clearly spot
I'm like
Argentina?
one of those TikTok map guys who goes, have you seen those guys on TikTok who are like,
No, because
they just get a photo of dirt and they go,
yeah.
okay, that's red dirt. Yeah, that's definitely in Iowa. I'm going
Yeah.
to say in the west of Iowa. Yep, there we go. 3Ks off.
Wow.
You haven't seen those guys?
Well, no, but you clearly have, which is why you could identify Argentina. Or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
you just
You're like,
said. That's
easy,
great.
Argentina.
Well, look, I'm lying. Whatever it was, I read an article later that said clearly was Argentina or whatever, and I said, yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
clearly.
You just
clearly.
soaked that up. Okay, here's a fun fact that I actually just learnt last week. So this is actually an addition
Fresh
to
fact.
the report.
Great.
But the Melbourne Arts Centre built a bathroom specifically for Princess Diana
What?
because they were like, you're too good to like piss with the commoners.
Mm.
And it was this enormous underground blue tiled, like it had those bulbs on the mirrors. It was this insane, like a backstage dressing room that
Yeah.
cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars. And
Good
Diana
use of the
refused
cash.
to go in it because she was like, this is so uncomfortable. If I want to pee, I just want to go to the bathroom. I don't, because all the staff were like excited for her and like
They
standing there
definitely
waiting.
set up a camera in there.
they
100%.
totally would
Oh my
have.
God.
But
Although
imagine
that's
the
why they had the
pressure.
perfect
They made
lighting.
her own special bathroom.
Like if you're just wanting to pee and everyone's excited for you, like what were they gonna say when she came out?
yeah. How
Like,
was it?
How was it? Fine.
It's fine, thank you. Why are you paying so much attention to my bowel movements?
Yeah.
That's
so she
odd.
was never interested in being treated.
Does it
like,
still exist?
No,
Oh,
it doesn't. The
Cool.
Art Centre was like, this was a waste of
It
money.
was a pop-up
Let's-
toilet.
It was a pop-up toilet. Nobody.
Just give her a
Surely the staff
portaloo.
maybe used it. Yeah, give her a portaloo.
feels like-
cheaper.
I mean, it was a waste of money, but if they kept it, it would be a fun thing to have now. And you'd
Yeah.
almost think it was worth it for the ridiculous history
I'd
of
go
it.
piss in that.
That's what they wanted it to be,
Yeah,
apparently.
okay.
That's what this article said. Like, they wanted it to be part of, like, the tour, because you can go on, like, a backstage tour of the art centre and stuff.
Piss where the princess pissed.
And they wanted it to be, like, look at this amazing bathroom. But instead, now, I guess, I don't know, maybe they stored, like, weird torsos of dummies in there or
Probably.
something.
Okay,
I
I'm
don't know
glad
what the
you
art
finished
centre do.
saying with dummies.
dummies,
yeah.
yeah.
It's the torso room. So the
Great
press,
room at Comedy Festival. Yeah, I'm doing the torso room this year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So the press just keep loving her and just slowly are actually turning away from loving the royals. Not that they can actively hate them in the press, but they're just like, we love this Diana chick.
Wow.
She's way better. And then, of course, because everything happened so quickly, she's pregnant again. Super quickly. And
Where was she trying to smuggle this semen into?
This birth, however, happens in September.
Oh, Harry, you little prick.
I mean, it's
Yes.
close, but yeah.
I mean, redhead.
Redhead,
He was always-
yeah.
He was always dodgy.
Excuse me. I'm right here.
And Diana loves being a mum, but like last time is like super depressed. The royals make her see another doctor about her moods, try to put her on Valium and just ignore her. Oh, good Lord. Also, in case this wasn't clear, Charles and Camilla are still boning this
Perfect.
entire time.
Maybe, is it possible that Camilla's the real mother? If
We
Charles was
don't-
boning her,
We've
then
already been here for 2 hours. We
Yeah.
do not have time to explain how babies are made.
No,
What?
There's simply no time.
You
I'll
couldn't
tell
even
you.
grasp the cupboard woman.
I'll tell you off the pod, bud. We'll have a chat. I've got some diagrams.
yeah, I just think Fergie
This
could
is
have
an
been
offline
involved.
chat.
Fergie could have been involved.
How do we know? Like, if
We
Charles
don't,
was
that's it,
having
we
two
don't.
relationships at once,
Yeah, we don't know.
how do we know who the real mother is?
You're
That's right, we don't know.
I couldn't actually agree with you more about anything.
Thank you. Anything at all.
Anything
It's like what you say to like a little kid.
Yeah. Oh, no,
you
you're
just feel
absolutely
like
right.
You're so right.
Yeah.
And then
Great call. Do you
They
want a sandwich?
become quiet.
You want a sandwich or a bit of apple? I'll cut up some apple for you.
A bit of apple. Oh, a bit of pineapple.
Bit of nana too? Okay, yeah, let's have some apple and nana.
Okay, here's a funny story though. So in 1985, Charles and Diana go to the ballet. I don't know if you've heard of this.
I've heard of ballet.
Particular. Have you heard of the ballet? It's a little bear.
Yeah,
in the car. Something they like to do together. It's like one of the few activities they enjoy doing is going to the theatre and going to the ballet. And during the intermission, Diana is like, oh, just for a sec, I've got to go to the bathroom. And then suddenly Charles sees her on the stage and she's wearing this like fun little dance dress. And what he doesn't realize is that as a surprise for his birthday, she's been secretly practicing and she performs a dance routine for him to Billy Joel's Uptown Girl.
What?
As like a fun surprise to be like, look at this cute thing.
Wow.
And he gets so mad.
Of course he does.
Because he's like, you're a showy little bitch.
Yeah, and it's not appropriate.
And it's not appropriate. But I would be like so touched if
Yeah.
my partner was secretly taking dance
Yes,
lessons.
that would be amazing.
It was so brutal watching The Crown. That scene. 'Cause you're like, oh, maybe this'll
Because she's trying so
melt his
hard.
cold
Trying so
fucking
hard.
heart.
She loves to dance as well. He couldn't even
Yeah.
be like proud of her to be like, that's cool.
Or even
Like,
neutral. He was angry about it.
Yeah.
How dare you embarrass us like this?
I know, and the crowd was loving it, obviously, as
Yeah,
well,
of
because they're like,
course.
"You're so cool."
They're
Also,
losing their freaking
what
minds.
a banger of a song.
You're so you're so not used to people liking something that you mistake it for something you should be embarrassed of.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so true.
It's
Because
like, well,
normally you
what's
wouldn't
this
get
reaction?
cheers or
Yeah.
laughter. They would just get like
Yeah.
intimidated looks, which they interpret as joy.
And
Oh,
respect.
so sad.
Wow. I did not know that.
It's really sad.
That is sad.
I have another story that I'm sorry, I was going to cut this, but I just couldn't because it's so funny in terms of demonstrating how removed from reality Charles was and is.
So I think that there's also like Diana not quite understanding him, thinking that he would love a surprise.
True.
Yeah.
Like,
To be
she's
like, this guy would love a surprise. Also, it's like at the ballet and she's big again, like Billy Joel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
you're right.
yeah.
They don't know each other.
Yeah.
They don't know each other at all. But so I love this story. So Charles is playing polo one day and he breaks his arm, as you do when you come off a horse, and he has to go to hospital for rehab. And the media, for some reason, they must be really bored and they're speculating like, what's the real reason he broke his arm? And just tabloid shit, like being...
The real reason he broke his arm.
Well,
And it's
saying that-
literally like he's so boring. It's polo. There's no
there's
scandal.
no ulterior motive.
They're saying
here.
stuff like he broke his arm so he could suck his own dick. Like, that doesn't make sense.
They were all saying that and Charles is like, what? You
like-
can do that?
That's not how it works. Like, yeah, if your arm can't touch your dick, then
Your mouth has to.
Your mouth grows. Your lips grow longer.
You get more flexible,
Yeah.
actually. So for some reason, Charles thinks that this is a good idea. He plans a press conference and he buys a fake arm with a hook on the end of
Oh
it.
my God.
And what his plan is to tell the press that he lost his arm, that it had to be chopped off, and that now he has a hook hand. And
So
he
he's
somehow
pranking them.
thinks that this will make him like funny or likable in the public eye. Like
I mean, that feels like he's having a crack at it.
it's a good bit. Don't get me wrong. Hook hand, can't go wrong.
Yeah.
But in terms of a royal thing to do, so Diana finds out about this and she shuts it down.
Good.
She's like, your mum's going to hate this. But instead of saying that to him directly, she says to his staff, tell him that you lost the arm. Say it's gone missing. Please don't do this. It will humiliate him and his family and everyone will be mad. So that's what happens.
I
And
would totally let him humiliate himself.
I know, but she's too nice.
She's so nice. Oh, and he's such a dick to her.
I want to know where the hook hand is.
Yeah, definitely want to know where that is.
So it never happened, and what did we find out about this in her own words or someone else's words?
I think he even told the
He told
story
the story.
in his own autobiography. He's like,
Right.
I had this funny little scheme, or however he would phrase it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because I imagine people who've lost arms wouldn't have found that hilarious.
Yep, that's
No,
true.
not a prank. To do at a hospital. To
Yeah.
bring all of the media to a hospital to be like, oh, my arm had to be decapitated. Just kidding.
Just kidding.
And
Don't
so-
worry, I've still got my arm.
Yes, these losers might not, but I do.
And it's not an
so
impromptu
weird.
thing. He's like planned it and invited the press. It's odd.
It's so embarrassing.
Yeah, it's very embarrassing.
Yeah, it's bad.
It was like we did an April Fool's Day episode a while back, and there was a prank with some sort of military guy, and he called a press conference and said there was a nuclear attack happening, and all these people died, and then he's like, "Just kidding, April Fools."
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's like, read a room, dude.
People don't know what a prank is.
No.
Prank is a whoopee cushion or
Yeah.
a pin cushion.
A pin
Yeah.
They're
cushion.
cushion related.
That's
Yeah.
Most
funny.
pranks are
Pranks are
cushion
cushions.
related.
Yeah, that's right.
That's how it has to be. It has to be done that way. All right, let's stamp the timeline. It's mid-80s. Charles and Camilla shagging all the time. It is sometimes mentioned in the press, but in weirdly neutral terms because they love the royals. And it's described as, and I hate this, extramarital chummery.
Oh, I'm right on the edge of hate and love there.
Yeah, me
Chummer
too.
is very fun.
Chummery. Chummery.
It's so disgustingly British.
Yeah. Chummery.
Chummery.
So speaking of extramarital chummery, Diana by this stage is like, fuck it, and starts her own affairs. Yes, queen.
Yeah, get it, girl.
Yes, princess. She starts sleeping with her bodyguard, whose name is Barry Manicky.
Oh, great name.
Later said she was in love with him, but when the royals found out, he, of course, got fired. Now, we could do a whole other episode on the conspiracy theories because I had to cut all of that stuff out.
Oh,
otherwise
no,
we would
people
have
will
been
be
here.
shattered. That's a follow-up episode.
We could do that, but this is where one of the conspiracy theories starts because 3 weeks after he was fired, he died in a car accident that has a lot of mysterious
Holy shit, they offed him,
circumstances.
allegedly?
Yes.
Frickin' hell.
Seriously.
Oh, that's awful.
But it's really sad.
Yeah.
Because he was her friend as well. You know,
Yeah.
like he was a genuine confidant, someone that she really liked. So there's this awful death. She's now without physical protection of a bodyguard and, you know, she's lost her friend.
Oh,
and
my
she's
God.
scared.
And that, I mean, luckily that doesn't turn out to be some sort of a royal family MO for having people offed in
Yeah, that's
suspicious
right.
car accidents,
I
right?
know. Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So it could have been an accident because it's a one-off. You assume probably just an accident.
Yeah,
just,
that's right.
Just
yeah.
the one.
If it would have happened again, for example,
Yeah.
you'd be like, hang on a sec.
Oh, something
But,
a bit fishy
You know,
all of a
car
sudden.
accident, shame on me once.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Car
that's
accident twice,
Yeah.
shame on that's
The royal
same.
family.
Royals. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
It's a
That's
conspiracy.
definitely the same. So the bodyguard to replace Barry was a man named Ken Worf, who did a lot of his
So
own
great.
interviews about this time with Diana. Said she was super down to earth. Everyone just says glowing things about her. He said she was the best boss he'd ever had. And not long after he started, Diana said, do you know about the affair with Camilla? Like, am I a public joke? Like, does everyone know this, really? Can you be honest with me? And he was like, yeah, look, yes. All the staff know. We're covering up for him all the time. This has been happening since
Yeah, okay.
you guys started dating. And it just kind of confirmed to her, like, wow, fuck, like, people are laughing at me, my whole family. It would just be really humiliating, even
Yeah.
though she already knew it was happening. It was just like this extra to know that all the staff were in on it and stuff is just yucky.
Not that, but it feels like no. Would anyone have been laughing at her? It feels like everyone would have been like, no, "This is unfortunate,"
She
or were
might-
they?
I think she would feel.
Yeah. Oh no, I understand that.
Yeah.
But she was right to feel that way, but they weren't actually going, "Ha ha ha, Diana, you silly girl."
No. They were probably, if they were laughing at her, it's for probably being like, you think this is weird.
Yeah. Right.
This is normal. But it just sucks. And she just continues to feel really alone. There's one point in an interview with Diana where she's quoted as saying, I was in tears, sobbing, went to the top lady, which is what she calls the queen, which I find really sweet.
lady.
I went to the top lady.
Because she's normally bottomless, the queen.
Yeah. Famously bottomless. But
Yeah.
this time,
She had a top
lady.
on.
Yeah.
You got to specify. Yeah. Her nips were not out.
No.
Not this time.
Yeah.
They were
for
still
once
rock
in a
hard, though.
frickin'
They were
yeah.
rock hard underneath.
No bra.
But
No,
no, I don't think she would ever wear a
No.
bra.
Why would you?
Oh,
You're the queen.
Too much.
Let the corgis out,
God,
which is what she calls her nipples.
let them swing. So Diana begged the queen.
Her nipples are swinging. That's
They
how big they are.
would.
Yeah, they would.
I'm not body shaming.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
I think it's
She's
beautiful
95 years old.
She's 195 years
Yeah,
old.
she's 195 years old.
and has been for as long
For
as
a
I
very
can
long
remember.
time.
And has been since she was negative 195.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Queen's age up in 390 year increments.
Famously.
Yeah.
So she said, what do I do about this affair? And the queen said, I don't know, and left the room.
Cool.
Basically, keep pretending everything's fine. You're weird for even asking. Right. So timestamp again. We're in the mid-80s. Sorry to bring up another tragedy, but AIDS is ripping through the world, and there is so much fear and misinformation and stigma at this time. It is a new disease. People don't know how it's transmitted. There's homophobia associated with it, racism. It's just fucked. And Diana was absolutely the first public person to go to hospital wards and touch people who had the disease. And she did this deliberately because at that time people thought that being in the same room, like you could get it. They thought it was like an airborne thing. They thought it was COVID.
Right. So that's what they like. Public thought that, but
Medical people knew.
right. But
But
they
it
couldn't
was
get the
so-
word out.
It was so early days.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like this, like remember, like even COVID, like there's still misinformation about COVID and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
People
this is
saying it
very
exists.
Early days, and I don't think public health awareness was a priority
Yeah.
for British people in general. So she became really passionate about that and being photographed sitting on the beds of these AIDS wards, people, and talking to them like they're humans, and that actually changed the perception of AIDS hugely. Like all of these AIDS councils still are like, no, she was like a pivotal person.
Wow.
Which is pretty
Save
cool.
lives probably then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
In a way.
How cool.
In a way.
In a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a famous photo of her sitting opposite and shaking the hand of a man who had recently been diagnosed with AIDS. He didn't want his face in the newspaper for obvious reasons, so it was taken from like behind the back of his head. But a nurse on the ward told the media how moving it was that Diana entered the ward without any gloves on and was shaking people's hands and, you know, taking that back to her social circles to be like, you know what, this is not how the disease is spread, and just, you know, I don't know. It's a pretty cool thing.
Treating them like people.
Breaking
like
all
people
sorts of
and
protocols in the course of that.
Exactly.
Treating them like people. We don't treat them
and gloves?
like people. Yeah.
Not wearing her gloves.
Oh my goodness.
So around this time, this is now where Sarah Ferguson,
Okay, Camilla.
aforementioned. Oh yeah, Camilla.
Yeah. Why have you? So she had a name change.
So
Deed poll?
Prince Charles's brother Andrew marries Sarah Ferguson, the original Fergie.
He's the one that doesn't sweat. Is he also the pedophile?
Is he the pedophile one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Oh, sorry. Allegedly.
So allegedly the pedophile is with Fergie.
They're not together anymore.
Oh, I
No.
don't know.
Yeah. But I guess the reason I'm bringing her up is because Diana took her under her wing and showed her all these protocols and showed her around the palace and showed her how to act in Scotland and was like, this is all bullshit, but this is what you have to do.
Yeah.
And I just think it's
that's cool.
nice because she
Yeah.
was like, I didn't have anyone to show me the ropes. I didn't have an ally. I was on my own and really lonely. I don't want you to feel like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So she told Fergie how it all went.
Yeah, how to
that's
act.
awesome.
Because Sarah Ferguson was actually from a slightly lower class background as well, which the press made fun of her for being, you know, like slightly overweight or slightly less posh and stuff. And Diana was like an ally to her.
How funny is that they're like, oh, you're a bit more regular. Let's
Yeah.
make fun of that,
Like,
not
gross.
celebrate it.
Yeah.
So strange.
Very strange.
So through Fergie, Diana met a man named James Hewitt and started an affair with him. Charles was still off with Camilla. It was just obvious that this marriage is just a complete sham. Just weird that there were a few years of this just sham marriage.
Was the bodyguard the redheaded guy? Who was the one that...
That's the James Hewitt who I just mentioned.
Oh, right.
So he's the one that people used to say is Harry's real dad, but the timelines
They
don't
got
match.
together later.
Yeah, Harry was already born when she
Right.
started. Well, allegedly.
Yeah.
Maybe Sarah Ferguson is Harry's
She's a redhead.
father.
Yeah.
Do we know?
Redheads in
Yeah,
this circle.
Okay.
Complicated. We could draw a family tree. No, we won't do that.
No, I do that.
So after this affair and through Diana getting more of her own identity and being involved in charities and stuff, she cut her hair.
This is when she cuts her hair.
This is when she got the cool fuck it wine mum kind of attitude, which I kind of like. She went out more, took her kids out, like just the three of them, would take them to like theme parks and just basically was living the life of like a single mum anyway.
Well, like Hollywood on the Gold Coast?
Yeah, pretty
Wow.
much. A little log. There's photos of them doing like the little log rides.
She get the 3-park super pass?
Oh, you have to.
Bloody
Bit of
hell.
value.
Be crazy
Yeah.
not to.
Yeah. What, you're going to pay individual prices at each place?
That's true.
You're dreaming.
Right. Jumping ahead to 1992, things for the royal family reach a climax when that is not a sexual way either. An enormous fire breaks out in Windsor Castle. It was not suspicious. They have lots of shit, and a curtain literally was ignited by a candle
Oh,
being
wow.
pressed. So
Someone
the whole place
lit a candle? I thought no heating.
in Windsor Castle, you're allowed.
Oh, you're allowed
not
to have
in the
one
coldest place.
candle per room.
One candle per room, and
For
never in
warmth.
Scotland.
And it can't be scented.
So they lost a lot of stuff. It was a big deal. It was very stressful. And this is all the while Diana and Charles's, all of their affairs are in the press.
Hey, Dee, can I just interrupt just 1 second?
Of course.
And say, we'll be right back after these messages. Hey, Dee, please do go on.
I just wanted to start by saying I loved those messages.
Aren't they good?
They're so good.
Yeah. Make you think.
Yeah, make you think, make you laugh, make you cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all of the affairs are in the papers. The fire has just happened. The Queen at this point, unfortunately, is having a 40th coronation ceremony, and she starts her speech, no shit, by being really miserable. And she essentially says, I won't look back on this year fondly. I won't.
Wow.
She's just like, everything's
I've had a shit
fucked.
one.
Yeah, I've had a real shit one.
Yeah, interesting.
It's just, yeah, everything's kind of imploding in terms of the royal family.
Huh.
And to bring things back to Diana, she's trying really hard to be a good mum and a good person in the world, raise money for all these causes, but in truth is she can't trust people. Her husband is cheating on her, new family never cared about her, and it ends up coming out that even her therapist was on a retainer with a newspaper for a set amount of money to give stories.
Oh,
Get fucked.
like you couldn't trust anyone anymore.
That is horrendous.
That's awful.
Insane. Like
That's got to be against some sort of rules.
I think at least 10 rules
Yeah.
it is against.
Minimum.
If not just a moral code.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, whenever I hear people, talking about Diana being a little bit, hysterical or crazy, I'm like, she was super composed.
Yeah.
Given all of this shit was happening.
Yeah.
I
Totally.
would be full bonkers. I'd be doing the Britney Spears with shaving the head
Yep.
and the baseball bat. Like, and fair enough.
Yep.
Like, you're being treated like insane by everyone around you.
Her version of that was getting slightly shorter hair.
That is her wearing
Pretty
bike
radical.
shorts.
Yeah.
Pretty radical.
Wearing bike shorts, going on a log ride. So not long after
Not a
this-
euphemism for sex.
never. So not long after that coronation ceremony, in 1992, Diana and Charles gave up and announced their separation. All the staff say that in some ways they feel a sense of relief that they don't have to keep pretending that things are fine when they're clearly not. And Diana's secretary said he felt like he was being bullied into automatically always being on Charles's side when he was trying to defend her and stuff. So he was like, I don't have to pretend anymore. And at about this time, Diana's quoted as saying, every strong woman walks the same path. It is the strength that causes fear. Why is she strong? Where is she taking this? And where is she going to use it? I don't know, but I'll fight to the end.
Wow.
Is this around the time she also said, there were 3 people in our marriage?
Exactly. That is coming up. So she's now separated and free from this marriage, but again, back into a new form of sadness and torture. As part of the separation arrangement, she is not given sole custody. Charles is.
Ugh. What?
So she is only allowed to see her kids on the weekends.
Oh, that
Which
sucks.
That's when she
weird
wants to
and
get out and
fucked.
party.
Yeah. So she's like,
You know?
So she wants
he
to
gets
party
her,
on a Wednesday.
he gets her on school days and she has to look after him all day. That's a doggy deal.
that's a doggy
That's
deal.
a dog
That's
deal.
a dog
That's a bloody
deal.
dog deal.
You're being dogged by the judge there, dog.
Dog.
That sucks.
But, surprisingly, she actually is not happy with this arrangement. She feels really lonely and she wants to raise her kids. And there's a quote from her, I want my boys to have an understanding of people's emotions, of their insecurities, of other people's distress, and of their hopes and dreams.
It's kind of amazing that through all this, she's come out understanding what she was missing and knowing that she didn't want to repeat those mistakes, because it seems like
Exactly.
everyone else in the royal family haven't understood it and have just passed it
Yeah.
on generation to generation.
And even with now, like, not to jump around too much, but even now with William and Harry, Harry's gone off and he's doing his own thing. And William's very much part of the royal family, still in that weird cult. So I always wonder what their relationship is like.
Yeah.
Like, how's their text?
Because they seem like they were pretty tight at some
They
point.
were, definitely. But I think with Harry leaving, it's tougher now.
It'd be weird. It'd be strange.
It'll probably be better once the Queen's dead.
Oh,
Probably.
we're all
Yeah.
waiting for that day.
You
Realistically.
really, you hope that the royal family learnt from this whole thing with Diana, that they're not... I mean, you would have thought they would have learnt to not alienate outsiders and welcome them more, but obviously they haven't quite done that.
Matt, wouldn't you?
Surely they're not as bad, at
If
least.
there's one thing 90-something-year-olds are good at, it's change.
Yeah. Old dogs, new
Yes.
tricks, they
Yeah.
love that
They
So
stuff.
I'm
love
sure
that. They
she
love a
should have
new
been
trick.
better.
So while she's separated, she still has her place in society with her charity work and ribbon cutting and whatever, but it is a lot less than it used to be because she's not accompanied by this royal title anymore. But she still is the people's princess. and loved by the everyday person, the common man. And this is when I said, yeah, she enters her wine mum phase, which I say with complete affection, because she has nothing else to do. She has oodles of time, oodles of money, and can't see her kids. So she's like, fuck it, I'm going to get into bike shorts and go clubbing, date a whole bunch of cool people, which she does. I can't even list them all, but they all seem pretty cool. There's like an art dealer guy, whatever.
But going off what you said before, she's not enjoying herself still because her only good time in her life happened in the share house in her 20s. Is that right?
Yeah,
or is she enjoying this a bit more?
I think she's trying to.
Right.
Maybe she's trying to be like making the most of this awful situation, which is what you would do, I guess. Hey?
Yeah.
When you're still young. I don't even know if she's even 30 at this point.
Yeah,
yet.
like young.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But crucially, around this time, and I don't think it's a coincidence, her relationship with the press starts to sour. And it kind of sucks because she's single and allowed to be dating, and now she's kind of painted as a slut and a bad mum and stuff, even though all of this stuff is out of her control.
Is this because the power of the Buckingham Palace? Are they
surely
like poisoning the well?
I mean, I don't have evidence of this, but I suspect
that
they want to freeze her out,
right,
and freeze out any association with her,
and make sure no one else tries to follow the same path. Probably,
yeah. Be like, don't be outspoken.
Hey,
don't
Fergie,
be cool.
don't
wear
do
bike
this.
Shorts.
Yeah,
the classics. And this is when the paparazzi stuff really kicks off into horrible stuff. We talked about like hidden cameras as a joke earlier, but a man actually does that. He goes to her gym and he installs a hidden camera to film her in the changing rooms and while she's working out. And he sells the footage to the well-respected publication Daily Mail, who print 9 pages of it.
What? And he goes to jail, I assume?
No, they settle out of court. But the fact that this was like a commonplace thing is... Like, I don't think... Like, we're still pretty tabloidy and trashy, but I don't think you could get away with this shit anymore, hey?
No.
Like, hidden cameras.
No, I'm sure you go to jail for that
and blatantly printing 9 pages of it.
Yeah.
And the headline wasn't even good. Like, they didn't even have a pun. They just wrote, Die Spy Sensation.
Die Spy's all right, I guess, but yeah.
But then just adding...
Let's workshop it a little bit, guys.
I know. And also...
That's horrendous.
Die Spy with my little...
Die Spy with my... Yeah. Getting there.
Oh, I Spy with my little die?
Yeah, I Spy with my little die. There we go.
Cute. We should email the editor.
Yeah, let them know.
So this is one of the only times that Diana is actually like, this sucks. This is too far. And she does sue him. Settled out of court, which, again, is not really spoken about as though anything had actually happened. So her relationship with the press moved from a celebrity photo here and there to targeted harassment. And the paparazzi are getting more and more aggressive. They shout things at her like the C word, which I shan't say.
Crown.
Crown. They say crowny.
Coronation.
Hey, coronation. Or bitch to get a reaction.
Do you think of bitch as a C word? I mean, it has a C in it.
To it. ABC.
Yeah.
Like, that's a family.
Okay.
So any word beginning with A, B, and C is a C word.
It's a C word. Okay.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, thank you, Jess. Thank you.
It's like anything from D, E, F is an F word.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you dog. Oh, don't drop the F word.
Don't drop the F-bomb, thank
Edit
you very
that
much.
out. Timestamp where that was and get rid of it. So, yes, the relationship with the press becomes really bad. Naturally, there are times when she loses her cool and shouts back at them. And, of course, those photos are worth more because she's showing emotion and it sucks. Like, at one horrible example is the week that her grandmother passes away, which the press definitely knew just happened. Diana has custody of her kids that weekend and she takes them to see the movies, to see Jurassic Park.
Fun,
Great
movie.
She's like, I'm going to try to do something nice for these kids, see an amazing film. And as she's trying to leave the cinema, the press is shouting abuse at her and one of them throws a paper cup at her. And Diana turns around and ends up shouting back, "Why don't you rape someone else?" Which speaks to how violated... You know, it's a pretty fucking good comeback to shout back at someone, to be honest.
Jesus.
Like, it's to really try to get them to understand how horribly violated she's feeling. Like, it's a horrible thing to say, but it's also like an accurate feeling.
At such a vulnerable time.
Yes.
Such an asshole thing to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just like...
A paper cup. Come on.
But just like screaming bitch and just like,
Yeah.
it's just
But
crazy.
don't you think it's also embarrassing for whoever it was that they threw a paper
and
cup?
they're always they're like actively shoving
be a
her
glass.
as well. They're like shoving her to get a
Oh,
reaction.
yeah.
and
Oh, it's
stuff.
awful. But it's just so funny that a paper cup, like the lightest, it would have been. She would have been like, "What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you? Have you thought about how ridiculous?"
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you're being awful, but you're also like, this is
You're being pathetic.
so pathetic
Yeah.
and
Yeah. But she even
on
comes
every
out.
level.
She even comes out and is embarrassed sometimes at yelling at them and says, I know it's just a job and they have to do it, but I do
Oh.
sometimes wish they wouldn't.
That is so classy.
And I'm like, that's so fucking classy
Yeah.
for people who are screaming at you and pushing your kids in the cinema and stuff.
yeah, no one has to do that job.
Exactly. Nobody has to. But like, it is a real cultural thing that like in the UK, their paparazzi was crazy and still is crazier than ours.
I can't, like, she just can't try. So she's being filmed in private places. Her
Yeah.
therapist is selling her innermost thoughts.
It's
like,
unbelievable.
I had no idea it was this bad.
Yeah.
Neither did I until I really did the deep dive. And I think that's when I was almost more impressed with her composure.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Like there are not as many photos of her yelling or anything than you would
Yeah.
expect when you find out about these
I
details.
don't remember any of those photos of her yelling. I just remember
Neither
always
do
being
I.
super chilled out and
But inside, she must have just been like I have no emotional regulation whatsoever. Like if one of you said a joke to me, I'd cry or whatever. Like I just am a little baby. I don't know how these people do it 24/7 and they're being
Horrendous.
monitored.
You'd just
It's
be a shell of a person.
Yeah, you would. You'd get home and just sleep, I guess, all
Yeah.
the time. And not in a cool way.
Yeah, not a cool way.
Not
Sleep in a
cool
sad way.
Sad sleep.
And not a restful way.
No.
I remember being confused by what the obsession was with her. You know, you're ever at a supermarket, every magazine cover seemed to have her photo.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. But do you understand going through it why people were so obsessed with her?
Yeah, because of how she was in terms of being not like the royal family.
Yeah.
And also a victim of an affair.
Yeah.
So there was all of that, you know, tabloids love a scandal. And then when they separated, they had more to go on because they're like, she's actually going out now. So I don't agree, of course, with the press, but when you think of it, unfortunately, like that, you know,
It's
they're there to make
interesting.
money. It's
Yeah.
interesting. It's celebrity scandals. People love them.
Yeah.
Ugh, so gross. So, okay, timestamp 1993. She's had enough of this harassment and announces a resignation of sorts, which is something that Harry did.
Yeah.
And it's quite difficult to wrap your head around the logistics of it because she doesn't have to resign. She's not employed.
Yeah.
But the reason she's doing it is to basically say, back off.
Yeah.
Right.
She's
Leave me
still doing
alone.
her charity work and stuff, but it's just a public statement to say, please leave me alone.
Yeah.
So she doesn't have to resign. There's no job. She's still doing her charity work.
Yeah, and she's not a blood royal either.
No.
So
No. So it's not like, yeah, exactly. It's actually very different to Harry because she's not even leaving her family. It's just more saying like, so part of her statement, I won't read the whole thing, but she's saying, I was not aware of how overwhelming the attention would become, nor to the extent to which it would affect my public duties and personal life in a manner that's been extremely hard to bear. I hope you can find it in your hearts to understand and give me time and space that has been lacking in recent years. So it's more just a statement to be like, back the fuck off.
Yeah.
Very reasonably said too.
just
And of
subtly
course it is,
saying,
yeah.
have a look at yourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave me
Think
alone.
about what you're doing.
Leave me
I'm
alone.
just a person.
Yeah.
I'm
You're
just
being
a gal
weird.
with a great haircut. Leave me
Okay.
alone.
And bike shorts.
And the
Good
bike
bike
shorts. We
shorts.
cannot forget. Also worth noting is that they remain separated for many years. They don't actually get properly divorced until 96.
Oh, right.
So it's this weird stretched out separation, which again fuels a lot of the media stuff because they're speculating like what will the divorce look like and how much money will she get and like probably just making all of this shit up. But it adds fuel to that fire. And to seemingly to get ahead of the press, in 94, Charles has a one-on-one interview with the BBC and he confirms that he is now dating Camilla.
He's met another lady.
That early.
Yeah,
yeah,
so
that
even
does seem
before
a
the
bit
official
soon.
divorce. But it was definitely a PR thing
Yeah.
because he's like, I just want everyone to know that we gave our marriage a good crack. It just didn't work out. You know, he's trying to get ahead of whatever Diana will say because she has actually remained completely silent this whole time.
Is there any reason to believe that she's gonna say anything, or she's gonna try and?
I
Make him
reckon
look bad in the press?
he will probably think that when the divorce is finalised,
Yeah.
she'll kick off. Maybe?
Is there anything to suggest that? Like, she's always been pretty...
I mean, she has mood swings and
She might be honest.
She's
stuff.
very
I
moody.
don't-
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I
Well,
assume it's a standard PR thing that
Yeah.
the royals do. I just assume it's part of their weird deal.
right.
So it's this big official interview that's really more of a propaganda thing. And I don't know if you guys have heard of the revenge dress.
Oh, yes.
So
No.
the revenge dress is a thing where Diana knows that this BBC interview with Charles is going to be aired that night. And she goes, right, I have two options. I can stay inside and hide while he says all these lies about our marriage, or I can pretend it's not going to happen. And that's what she does. She wears this super hot black off-the-shoulder number and goes to a party. And she looks hot as fuck. And she's like, I don't care. So that's why that dress is sort of known as the revenge dress, because she's like, I want you to know that whatever you say about me and whatever lies, I'm going to keep living my life. You know?
And she said that. It's not just like she went out and wasn't really thinking about it.
Oh, no.
It's definitely all premeditated.
Yeah.
A premeditated dress.
Big time.
My goodness.
And also, I wouldn't want to just be at home knowing that that was being televised and everyone was
Yeah.
judging me. Yeah.
Is that in her own words? A revenge dress?
I don't think that was her own words. I think that was the press called it that. But I think every woman should have a revenge
You
dress.
got to have a revenge dress
in the cupboard next to the
Yeah.
cupboard woman.
Of course, that's what she's there for, to protect the revenge dress.
Oh, okay. Why didn't you
God.
say that earlier?
Try to get it, and she goes,
Yeah, she hisses.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
there's a
she'll
lot of
bite.
hissing.
Yeah,
It's pretty gross.
it's pretty full on, actually. Yeah.
Important role.
The following year, Diana did her own interview with the BBC, and that's where she publicly stated that she felt the royal family were waging a campaign against her and that she felt unsafe. Leading up to this interview, she'd been taking public speaking lessons, even though she was really eloquent and articulate, but she was so scared of saying the wrong thing. So she was really, really prepared. She says, I am a threat to the royal family because I don't go by their rule book. And this is where she drops that famous line, there were 3 of us in the marriage, so it felt a bit crowded.
Wow.
But here's a fun twist.
Okay.
Compared to Charles' BBC interview, this one was very unethical. So this journalist, Martin Bashir, a former senior judge and well-established journalist, it turned out he lied a whole bunch to get Diana to agree to the interview and to reveal more stuff. So the BBC sat around and forged documents to make it look like everyone in her life was getting paid off. So they had a fake bank statement with her brother's details on it. Her brother Charles,
What?
that showed Daily Mail payments going in. And they showed it to her and they said, look, even your brother.
Wow, that is awful.
That
the
is
BBC.
fucked up.
It was only 2 years ago that they finally got in trouble about that. And that's because Harry was pushing for it.
Whoa.
So this journalist, a well-established, BBC journalist, is sitting there saying, look, you can't trust anyone. And she already can't. But he's coming up with forged documents.
Yuck, just to manipulate her.
So yuck.
Oh my God. I didn't
And
know
that
that.
interview won a BAFTA.
Fuck
Oh,
off.
shit.
Like, it's just insane
Yeah.
levels of, deceit and just, it's
so unethical.
yucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was only 2 years ago that their BAFTA got revoked and they issued a statement being like, oh, we're so sorry for
Oh,
doing
whoopsie.
that. Whoopsie. Ugh. Anyway, so
The BBC.
the BBC.
Jeez. A C word, of course.
Yeah, the triple C
Triple
word.
C word.
Triple C word.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
Big corrupt C's. That's the big corrupt
Corporation.
corporation. Thank you.
Yes.
Couldn't think of another C word.
Corporation. There's not really a lot to say between the years of 95 and 97 because she actually is lying low and she's also dating a cool heart surgeon guy by the name of Hasnat Khan, who is a British Pakistani heart surgeon. It sounds like they were deeply in love and trying to just lay low, but he actually ended it because he said to her, we can never have a normal life because of who you are. And I find that really sad.
That is really sad.
Because it seems like that could have been an opportunity.
Yeah, all she wanted was a normal life.
All she wanted.
Yeah.
And it's not her fault.
No, it's not.
She's like actively avoiding the press. And then
Yeah.
he's like, sorry, I can't have a normal life with you.
I just want
It's
to go to
so
bottomless brunch and we
sad.
can't.
I know. It's like we all just want to be bottomless.
Yeah.
Like we should all
I
be
just
allowed
want
to
be
say
Winnie
that.
the Pooh.
It's a human desire.
he knew that going in.
I know.
Yeah, why be together for a couple of years or,
I guess that's fair. It's fair enough.
You know
you
at the
change your
start
mind
who
and
she
stuff,
is.
but it does feel like,
It's sad.
It
I
is
guess we never
tough.
really know
Of
well,
course.
like the circumstances, but of course, in my eyes, Diana is perfect. So June 1997.
Okay, June. This is obviously
June, another pivotal month.
Yeah.
It's always June. In June 97, Diana starts dating a man named Dodi Al-Fayed, who you might
I recognize him.
that name. So his upbringing, he's the son of a man named Muhammad Al-Fayed, who's a billionaire business guy and owner of Harrods department
of
store.
course, yep.
Do you guys actually know Harrods?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like a bougie David Jones.
Yeah.
I think it's even posher than David Jones.
Even
To me, it's
posher than
like,
David
well,
Jones.
to me, we've established I can't even afford a full Airbnb.
Oh, no, I understand.
That's
but
posh to me.
yeah, no, it's posh to me too, but it's funny to use that as a marker.
That is
Even
the mark.
posher than
Even
David Jones.
posher. And a very cool thing about Dodi's dad, Muhammad, is that he hates the British upper class establishment and the royal family. So you assume that his son maybe also feels like that. And again, this is me totally speculating, but maybe they bonded over that to be like, yeah, those guys suck.
They suck.
And they holiday together in France. They go yachting. It's like a really cute, hot, sexy romance.
She would have been like, wow, you can do this on holidays? I thought you just had to
Yes.
sit in the cold.
I thought you had to just sit there in silence in the cold and watch the Queen walk around naked. It's actually so much more you can do. It's a very intense romance. Diana is being flown back and forth from London to wherever he is in the world. Like, he will fly his private jet to her and helicopter and be like, meet me in Paris. And it's, cute and hot and fantasy stuff. In August 10th, 97, exclusive photos are published in the tabloids of Diana and Dodi having a smooch. The photos themselves aren't even scandalous. They're just hanging out. But journalist Michael Hobbs, who I don't know if you know his podcast, You're Wrong About.
No.
He
Oh.
does a
Rings
lot
bell,
of
but I haven't
myth
heard it.
busting
Right.
of popular stuff. He did a deep dive series into Princess Diana. He describes these photos of Dodi and Diana as being the ones that killed her. Not literally, obviously, but for the last few years, photos of Diana hadn't been worth much because she had just been laying low. She was in a sort of long-term relationship and she wasn't doing much.
Yep.
But these new ones of her with a billionaire's son on a yacht,
Yeah.
they sell for £2 million.
Whoa.
Wow.
And previously, photos of Diana had been worth about 100 or 200. So
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's big.
So paparazzi go, wow, Diana's big again. We need to start.
We need to chase her.
Yeah, we need to chase her. Yeah. These photos are very valuable because more stories can be written and it can now be more scandals about her. And now, is she neglecting her sons? and whatever.
Amazing that the tabloids can make that money back and make a profit off it. It's so wild that
It's weird to think about handing someone a check for £2 million in the 90s for like two photos.
Yeah.
so you can put some photos in a magazine that how many magazines you have to sell based on them to at least 10, 20 copies.
I mean, I guess this
I don't know how much they cost back then, 100 grand
internet?
each or whatever.
Yeah, probably. I think, yeah.
But yeah, it's
So-
crazy. It's crazy. So that really changes things. That changes Diana's relationship again. The paparazzi start harassing her again, which she had been able to avoid for the last couple of years. So on the 22nd of August 1997, Diana leaves London for the last time to go on a cruise with Dodi. And they cruise around France for a week. And on August 30th, return to Paris via a private jet. So we are in her final days now, folks. I'm sorry. So the circumstances of her final days are as follows. Dodi's family own the Ritz Hotel in Paris as well as a small apartment nearby. So they fly into Paris and from the airport are driven to the Ritz Hotel by a man named Henri Paul, who is head of security of the hotel. He's not actually a driver. He's head of security, but they get him to do it. And they were only going to stay in town for the one night. It was William's birthday and Diana wanted to buy him a present.
Oh, William's birthday.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, me either.
And separately, Dodi wanted to do his own shopping and when he was away from Diana for an hour or two, went engagement ring shopping. But by all accounts, the press were everywhere and paparazzi were like hounding them. So neither of them really got to do the little dumb errands that they wanted to anyway.
Yeah.
They had too little extra. I mean, it's already obviously a sad story, but what heartbreaking details.
Yeah.
I know.
Her son, every birthday is reminded of this. And
Yeah.
she was maybe about to get engaged
And she
and
just
start
wanted
a
to go to
new
the
life.
shops.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a mundane thing that she wasn't able to do because there were literally crowds of cameras and stuff, like just buying a gift. So Diana and Dodie in the evening are like, we don't know what to do tonight. They go to the apartment and they thought that would be more private than the hotel, but there are photographers everywhere. They're camped outside in chairs. It's awful. They're throwing stuff. Yeah.
And yeah, I can only assume they brought those chairs up the butt.
That's the only way to carry a chair.
Yeah, how else are you going to bring him?
Famously. Actually, this is France. We don't know.
Oh, I don't know
true,
how
I
they
don't
do
know
it
how-
over
I don't know how
there.
the French do it.
Yeah,
Might be a
maybe.
different orifice.
Yeah.
And it's around 7 p.m. This is, keeping in mind, these are normal people with appetites. They don't live in this apartment. There's no food. And this is before Uber Eats. So they're like, we're hungry. We do need to leave this apartment,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
It wasn't before 131166 Pizza Hut delivery.
Wow. Is that what the messages who were from earlier? Is that what
Yeah, God.
I hope so.
We wish we could get Pizza Hut.
Oh, imagine getting that Pizza Hut coin. So they had reservations to go to a nearby restaurant, but that is already packed with people. So they're like, fuck this. We're just going to go to the Ritz Hotel. At least your family owns it.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have a little bit more privacy.
And there's room service.
And there's room service. But not totally the case because photographers are loitering. They eat really quickly. They have a couple of drinks and they're kind of stressed because they're like, we just want somewhere to sleep tonight and then go back to London tomorrow. After dinner, they're trying to work out how to go back to the apartment because by now the hotel is like just swarming with paparazzi.
Wouldn't they, the paparazzi also be like, well, we're not all going to get $2 million. There's now going to be every scenario there's going to be like 100 photos of it from different angles. So they're
like a supply
diluting
and
their own
thing.
None
Maybe
of them
they
would be
hope
worth
that
much money.
Their photo will be the one where you can actually see a face instead of just each other. They're
Right.
actually just taking photos of each other's heads.
You got to
Yeah.
be in it to win it.
And they've also, that's making them all strive to go a step further and a step too far.
Yeah.
It's true, yeah. Like literally weaseling their way in and stuff. It's awful. And here is a very interesting, important thing that I didn't actually know about. Henri, the person who collected Dodie and Diana from the airport, that guy I mentioned, the head of security, he's called back to work that evening to drive them from the hotel to the apartment. But he had clocked off. He'd done his duty for the day. He wasn't like rostered on and he'd been drinking all afternoon.
Oh, shit.
He'd been at various bars. Like, fair enough. He was just allowed to. He clocked off.
Yeah.
He picked up these celebrities in his eyes, dropped them at the hotel, and then his duty was done.
Yeah, he's done.
But for whatever reason, and it's still to this day unclear why, Dodie called him.
He
And
obviously
instead
just
of, like-
trusted him.
Yeah, trust probably. He was head of security at his family hotel.
Yeah.
But he probably trusted him too much if he didn't say, I'm not right to drive.
Too much. And again, we don't know what that conversation looked like.
Yeah.
Maybe, again, Henri was like terrified of losing his job. It felt like he couldn't say no. We don't know. This is, again, me just speculating. But
Dodie was like, hey, it's cool to drink drive. Don't worry about it.
hey, actually, it's cool.
It's actually
Like,
really cool.
That actually
Yeah.
makes me want you to drive us even more.
He's wearing sunglasses. Like,
Yeah.
it's nice.
So that's-
I actually
Cool.
drive better when I'm drunk, so...
It's actually totally fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for whatever reason, Henri leaves the bar, goes to the Ritz Hotel to drive them to the apartment. And while waiting for Dodie and Diana to finish their drinks, he has 2 more drinks.
Oh,
my
no.
God.
Just for a little more confidence.
It's real bad. It's real bad.
my
Oh, that's not a
God.
good decision.
So at just after midnight, Diana and Dodie are quietly escorted out of the back of the hotel into a black Mercedes-Benz. And 4 people get into this car. Diana, Dodie, Henri, the driver,
And a paparazzi. They're like, what are you doing here?
and a man, and Camilla Parker Bowles, and a man named Trevor Reese-Jones, who is Dodie's bodyguard. So there are 4 people in the car. And this is how strategic they have to be about the press. A decoy car is already there waiting to drive out first. So they're hoping that people think that's the Mercedes-Benz that's in it. It's a decoy car. And that actually works for like a couple of meters. It's only 5 kilometers between the hotel and the apartment. So they think it's not even a long drive. Even if this decoy thing doesn't work, it's 5 kilometers. They leave out the back of the hotel and somehow the press realize that there's no one in the decoy car. It's a self-driving Tesla or something. They instantly go, well, the next one definitely is them. That next Mercedes.
They realise no one's in it because it just rolls straight into a brick wall at like 5 k's an hour.
Yeah, it's just like veering off.
I don't think there's anyone in that.
Anyone at all. So the press rush around to chase the actual car. It doesn't sound like there was much actual reckless driving for the first few minutes, but once they hit a red light, the press catch up to them, keeping in mind there's cars and motorbikes and flashing cameras, and it's midnight and the driver has been drinking. So when the light turns green, the driver guns it and speeds along the freeway towards a tunnel, and it's estimated he was driving around 100 miles an hour when he entered the tunnel, which is about 160 kilometers an hour. The press continued to chase him in the tunnel, and Henri, driving a speeding car at night and has been drinking, which we later discover has been about 9 to 10 shots of scotch.
Fucking hell.
Oh
and
my
no
God.
food.
I didn't know that either. There's so many
I didn't
details I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
I think I knew that he'd been drinking. I didn't realise quite so much.
Like,
Far
obviously
out.
the paparazzi is still part of it, but that is also part
Yeah,
of it.
it's fair to say that's a
arguably.
fair part of it.
So with all of these facts laid out, it's not really a surprise that the car did crash in the tunnel. And Diana, Dodie and the driver, Henri, are dead at the scene. But the bodyguard, Trevor, manages to survive with a lot of injuries.
Wow.
So it's just a tragedy. There's not much else I have to say because I don't want to get into conspiracies and stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Did Trevor survive long? Like he's still alive?
I think he's still kicking.
So has he ever told his story?
As Dodie's bodyguard?
Yeah.
I don't know if he would have that much juicy information because those two were only dating for a couple of months.
Right. But he could tell the story of that
He could
night.
tell the story of that night. I haven't really looked into it.
That would,
To be honest,
imagine
I
that
got
would be
really sad reading about.
Yeah, no,
like
fair
I got
enough.
real bummed out, and I was like crying last night about it.
I was
So
just thinking, it just feels like you've underdone this report a bit. You're not chasing down every angle, and
It's actually
this is only going to be the
embarrassing.
longest episode we've ever done.
I'm
and
so embarrassed
That's not
about
enough for
that.
me. I want more.
This is insane.
I'm assuming soon you're going to talk about Darren Jarman in the 97 grand final.
Obviously, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's coming. That's another 3,000 words.
That's when I truly get heartbroken.
That's when you're going to tune in.
No, that's when I'll tune out. I can't hear about
You
that.
can't go there.
No.
Understandable.
Traumatic.
So look, the rest of my report is really just saying how sad it is, which doesn't really need to be said. She was just 36 when she died.
I was thinking that the whole time. I was like, I don't know how old she was.
In
And then
my
I'm
head,
doing
she was
the
like
maths.
40s.
I know, yeah, 36.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awful. And her kids are like, early teens and
And she
Yeah,
died
15
on her.
and 12.
that sucks.
So every birthday for Will, it's also his mum's death
very
anniversary.
close to.
Or very
yeah,
close, right?
very close anniversary.
So sad.
that sucks.
I just want to get one more dig at the royal family
Okay.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
while I can,
Get in there.
which is that I don't know if you saw any photos from the funeral, but Charles and Harry and William are walking behind the car that has her casket in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually quite a long walk and it's slow and it's their children. And Harry has since said this statement, which is, "My mother had died and I had to walk a long way behind her coffin surrounded by thousands of people watching me while millions more did on television. I don't think any child should be asked to do that."
Yeah.
And it was actually Charles. It was the dad that forced them to do that because of tradition.
Isn't he? He's got great instincts, I reckon.
I think
Charles.
so, yeah.
Just
A good daddy.
He knows how
not
people
a nice
think.
note to end on, I aware, but I just really want to drive home if it's not clear how fucked the royal family is.
Yeah, and that is a good point. That what they put those kids through
Yeah.
is awful.
So
and they've
sad.
both talked about that.
Yeah, how brutal that
Yeah,
was.
how awful that was.
They should have been hidden and protected and
Yes.
grieving, not sitting there like little props.
Grieve publicly, but don't cry or anything. That's inappropriate.
And isn't it so funny that even knowing all of that, the media still seem to be like, Harry, how dare you leave this family?
Yeah.
That's
Look
done
what happened
so
to
much
his mum.
for you.
Well, he mentioned her, of course, in the statement when he was resigning as well. He was like, I saw what happened with my mum and I don't want my kids to go through that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. I reckon I would stick with it. The difference between you and me, Jess, I just feel like I stick things out whether I should or shouldn't. But you would be like, nah, this is fucked. I quit.
Matt, one of the things that Matt admires the most in me is my ability to say no to things.
So good.
Maybe I'm a lot like you, Matt. I would stay in this weird cult for sure.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like scared to speak
Yeah,
out.
exactly.
I'd be like, maybe it's actually fine.
Yeah. This is just how it is.
Yeah. I'm jealous of people that can say no or yes.
Yeah.
I have an opinion.
I don't necessarily think I am somebody who's great at saying no, but Matt admires it in me when I do.
Yeah.
So that's really saying something.
Yeah. That every now and then I say no.
Matt.
And Matt,
We'll get into that later.
Matt appreciates it.
Hey, so knowing how this story ends, is that how she got her nickname Princess Di?
Yes. Yeah.
Matthew,
She was
too
just
soon.
she was just Diane before that.
Right.
Diane.
And then now
Famously.
she's famously
Dead.
so she got the nickname. There you go.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
There was a lot in there I didn't know.
So much.
There was
Tiny bits and
actually
pieces
just
I did.
too much in there that I
No,
feel like
no,
I
no.
should apologise for.
No,
Okay,
please
but
stop
I had a lot of
apologising,
fun writing
Dee.
it.
Michelle Brazier came on and summarised every Fast and the Furious movie. And
There's
it went
so many.
there's so
Yeah.
many.
There's so many.
So you gave us an abridged life story of somebody who had a big life,
Sad life.
a big sad life.
And people love the epic eps.
They do.
Can I end with some words from Diana herself?
Please,
Because I
in
want to
her-
end on
in her
like
own
a
words?
nice, in her own
These are
words.
Diana's words in her own words.
These are Diana's words in her own words from my own voice.
Oh,
wow.
love that.
Can
Yeah,
you
perfect.
do her own voice in your own voice?
I could do a different celebrity.
Okay, who could you do? Adele?
I'll do Adele.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Adele. That's how I get
hello,
into
I'm
Adele.
Adele.
Yeah.
I've had a nose job and I won't talk about it. No, but I
Is
will
that-
end.
it's so weird. Normally you should just talk about your nose jobs.
You should.
Why are you doing
Don't be
you're doing to Adele
ashamed.
what they did to Diana?
Oh my god.
Yes, just as bad.
Just as bad. Just so you know, Matt's pointing at me very aggressively.
Just as bad.
I
Just as
didn't realize you were a pappy.
A pappy.
Pappy D.
Pappy D, that's what people call me, and now you know why. So I will end with these words, and then you will be like, please leave. And it was actually hard to choose a little quote to finish on, because she actually said a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't think she was full of shit. I'll end with this. She says, the biggest disease in this world is feeling unloved. Every one of us needs to show how much we care for each other, and in the process, care for ourselves.
Oh, that's so nice.
That is nice.
We got to be kind and be good people.
Hey D, love you.
Thank you. I've been waiting 3 hours for you to say that. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks so much for coming on the show and telling us all about.
you.
I honestly didn't think I was interested in this at all, but I found that story fascinating. It's so grim and
This is
tragic.
going to be a real slog.
I know it's hard. It was obviously sad to write. So
Yeah.
thank you for interjecting with humor where I was just going to probably cry and stuff. I
Well, I hope
appreciate
it was, a bit cathartic to finally get that story out after spending so much time 9 months ago writing it.
I know it's been pent up inside of me.
Oh my
Yeah,
god!
yeah.
it's- I didn't even connect that you've had this inside you for 9 months
Yeah,
and you finally
just
got it
holding
out
on
in
to
the
it.
world.
I even was gonna message a friend and say, if I don't get to do this, can I just read it to you? Which
Yeah.
would that's objectively a more psychotic thing to do.
Definitely, but you got to get it out.
Now it's out. I don't have
You
to
gotta
talk to my
purge.
friend like that.
Yeah, you can
good.
just chat to your friend about normal friend stuff.
I don't know what that is.
We'll figure it out.
I don't know what friendship is.
You've got to come back in 9 months or so and do an episode about the conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
I will. In 9 months exactly, I'll have a baby.
We should.
Oh,
We really should do it in June or July.
We have to do it in June or July.
Yeah.
something nice. We're all going to forget these references though.
Oh, 100%. Hopefully someone reminds us on Twitter.
I hope so.
Hopefully.
And speaking of, where can Do-Go-On listeners find you if they want to, follow you on across social media?
I spend too much time on the internet on Twitter at Figgled and on Instagram at Fidge, which is my surname.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it because I don't know what a website is.
Yeah, and again, if there's any web designers listening, if you wanted to help Dee out, that would be greatly
or
appreciated.
Just help me out in general. If anyone wants to be nice to me,
do
help
some
me
dishes.
out, help
Yeah.
me move house.
Yeah.
You know.
You've got a Princess Di tea towel. Maybe you could deliver
send it
that
across.
around.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be good. But thank you, Dee.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being involved in this record, what I assume is a record-breaking episode. But it'll be close. It's right up there with Michelle's one about Fast and Furious length.
I love that. I love being on par with Michelle. Thank you so much, guys.
Cheers, Dee.
Thanks.
And we're back in the room. Thank you so much once again to Dee Fidge for coming in, telling us all about, comprehensively about the life of Princess Diana. It was a very fun episode. Dee is an incredibly funny writer, just an incredibly funny person. So I mean it when I say you should absolutely go follow her on Twitter. She's so funny. She's a great writer. And it was an absolute delight to finally get her on the podcast after such a long time of planning it. Now, you might have been able to tell by now that it's just me, Jess, here with you, doing the Patreon alone in my study late at night. I'm standing this time because the last couple of times I've had to do this myself, I've felt really out of breath the whole time. So we'll just see how I go this time. But yeah, it's time for a very important part of our show, and that is where we get to thank a bunch of our Patreons who support us over at patreon.com/do-go-on-pod. And I've got a few things to get through. So the first thing that I would love to do is thank a few people on our Sydney Scheinberg Deluxe In Memoriam level, and they get to give themselves a fact. They get to give themselves a title, and they like to ask us a fact, quote, or a question. And it has a little jingle. It goes a little something like this: fact, quote, or question. Ding! And the first fact, quote, or question for this week comes from Kate Hopner. Kate has given themselves the title Acting Director of Always Panicking About Something. And Kate, honestly, so grateful that you're here. It's nice to have somebody in charge of panicking about something, because otherwise I'm doing it myself all the frickin' time. So it is kind of nice to have that delegated to someone, if you know what I mean. Anyway, Kate has asked a question. It says, do you have a favourite song where your name features in the title? Mine is Kate by Ben Folds 5. That's a good one. Love Ben Folds 5. Where your name is in the title. I'm going to check on Spotify and see if it triggers my memory. The first one I can think of is Regina Spektor has a song called Jessica, which I do quite like, but it's also like, it's a sad kind of, not sad, it's just not the most upbeat song. Oh, Major Lazer and Ezra Koenig have one called Jessica. You don't see heaps with just Jess, to be honest. And that was always a bit of a sticking point for me. You know how, like, as a kid, you'd want to get, like, a key ring with your name on it, or, like, I don't know, just anything personalised, little personalised number plates and stuff like that, little novelty ones. Always said Jessica. You could never just get Jess. And as you know, Jessica makes me feel like I'm in trouble. If I look up just Jess, of course, Jessie's Girl comes up. Just like Jessie James by Cher, Stacey's Mom came up, which makes no sense. It doesn't have Jess in it at all. But yeah, if you're a singer-songwriter out there, can you just write a song called Jess, please? A lot of Jessicas. But, I found one from Trey Gruber. Don't know if it's good, but it's my new favourite song. Night Hikes also have one. Okay, there's a few. I don't know about Matt and Dave. Can't answer that question for you on their behalf. So I apologise about that. If you want to, at them and ask them directly. But thank you, Kate, for answering your own question as well. Kate by Ben Folds 5. Don't know if I know that specific song. I probably do, but I'll go listen to it. I promise. Our next fact quote question comes from Jessica English. Now, Jessica, I just spent quite a long time saying I didn't like being called Jessica. You probably do, given that's how you've written your name. And so, look, I was just saying, I just want to make it very clear that was entirely my feelings. My parents named me Jessica specifically to call me Jess. So I've been Jess my whole life, and got Jessica when I was in trouble. So really it's my parents' problem. Anyway, Jessica English has given themselves a title. I don't know. I've never been good at improv. It's pretty funny as well because what Jessica's actually written is I've never been good at improve. And that made me chuckle a little bit on the inside. Jessica's given a suggestion. Love a suggestion. Always welcome those. And the suggestion is, have been wondering for a while if you could all do a master episode post in the Patreon Facebook group similar to what you do on the public Facebook page. That way, all the comments, links, etc. people post specific to the episode are in one place, and when I listen to older episodes or are catching up, we can enjoy the banter of the nicest place on the internet by finding the one post. Really appreciate everything you do. Highlight of my weeks are new episodes, and the highlight of my summer was Matt's episode on the greatest beer run, followed quickly by an awesome book cheat. Oh, so good. That is a really good suggestion. I kind of have a very vague memory of us maybe doing that in the past. And I don't really know why it disappeared, but you're right. Why double up? As in, for you guys, you sort of have to like go between sort of the public Facebook page and the Patreon Facebook group. Great suggestion. I am going to hopefully remember to message Matt and Dave that right away so that we remember, because otherwise I'm seeing them in 2 days to record some podcasts. I'll forget. We know I'll forget. Thank you, Jessica, for your suggestion. Our next fact quote question comes from Claire Norris. Claire's given themselves the title of onomastician of the pod. Fun. And Claire has given a fact. And this fact is, hi all, not to brag, as this is a fact, but I think I found my favourite professional sports name in history. A big call. All right, let's see. John Oscar Dickshot, or better known as Ugly Johnny Dickshot, was a Major League Baseball player in the 30s and 40s, according to Wikipedia.org, which I assume is some kind of baseball encyclopedia. He often referred to himself as the ugliest man in baseball. Choosing the all-ugly team for each league was an annual tradition in minor league baseball, and Dickshot was named to the Southern Association's all-ugly team in 1935. Jesus Christ. The next year, Dickshot named the members of the International League's all-ugly team. He chose himself as the left fielder and team captain. Dickshot was later named to the International League's all-ugly team in 1939. Brutal, but at least he's sort of like, he's leaning into it. He's in on the joke. So that's nice. And Claire is finished by saying, thanks for everything you all do. Keep up the awesome podcasting. Oh, thank you, Claire. Appreciate that. And a great, great fact there. Dickshot is an incredible surname. You don't hear of many Dickshots. Not enough Dickshots out there, if you ask me. And our next fact quote or question comes from Kelly Clark, who's given themselves the title Indentured Non-Mole at Fortress of the Mole People. We love the Fortress of the Moles. And Kelly's asked a question. It says, we know from the Julie Andrews ep how you'd infiltrate human society were you a part of the glorious Fortress of the Mole People. My kind hosts would to know, where do you least expect mole kind to be? Okay. Okay. That I took a sec because Kelly has every now and then a letter is in brackets, and the letters in brackets spell out help me. So Kelly, I'm just gonna, where do I least expect mole kind to be? I suppose based on your clues, they could be anywhere. They could be all around us. Where do I least expect them to be? I don't know. In the doctor's office, at the supermarket, in my very own home. And I'll come find you, Kelly. You just hang in there, then I'll be there soon. It's funny because Kelly probably wrote that quite some time ago. In fact, I can see when that was submitted, and it was a couple of months ago now. So we can only assume that Kelly is dead, and long may Kelly rest in peace. Thank you to Kelly, Claire, Jessica, and Kate. And the next thing I would like to do is give a little shout out to some of our supporters who are on the associate producer Ask Prod level, I believe. And what we like to do here is we usually play a little bit of a game. And I've just realised I edited this podcast last week, and I don't remember that many of the riffs. Okay, Princess Di. Okay, what about a song that you would do a little dance to impress Prince Charles? Look, it's dumb. Is it one of my dumbest? No. Okay, first and foremost, I would love to thank from, oh my God, Deep Within the Fortress of the Moles, one of Kelly's captors, I would love to thank Kate Godorki. What an incredible name, if I've said that right, Kate. Incredible stuff. And Kate, I'm looking up Billy Joel. Obviously, I know Billy Joel songs. I just sort of want, like, other stuff. Oh, well, okay, Kate was inspired, obviously, by one of our Patreon bonus episodes where Matt, I should say, went through every reference in We Didn't Start the Fire. So Kate is actually doing a dance, an interpretive piece to We Didn't Start the Fire. It's actually quite beautiful. Yeah. So thank you, Kate. I'd also love to thank from Wallaceburg in Canada, Rebecca. Rebecca is doing a dance to a Phil Collins track, You Can't Hurry Love. One of his biggest songs. Could I have gone for any of the great Disney stuff? Of course, but that's not what Rebecca's chosen. Doing a dance to You Can't Hurry Love. Prince Charles gave it a solid 8 out of 10. And that's just because he likes to always encourage people to believe that there's room for improvement. So, Rebecca, that's a pretty high score. Congratulations. Next, I would love to thank from Staten Island in New York, Michael Driscoll. And Michael Driscoll has chosen to dance to a fellow Michael's song. He's doing a dance to Michael Jackson's Beat It. And it is, honestly, rivals MJ's dance moves. Everyone's like, whoa! We didn't know you could dance like that. And Michael's like, honestly, I didn't know I could dance like that. I think I've been possessed by the ghost of dance. And it's truly, truly beautiful thing. You've got to see it. From Pascoe Vale South in Victoria, I would love to thank Alex Pretty. Pretty is an incredible surname. I'm sure people probably make jokes about it. I freaking love it. That is great. And Alex has actually chosen to dance to Pretty Fly for a White Guy from The Offspring. Yes, there is a lot of just jumping up and down in the chorus, but it's done in a way that evokes so much emotion, Alex. So thank you so much. It's truly, I'm getting a bit choked up just even thinking about it. It was incredible. Next, I would love to thank from Bremen in Germany, Peter Timple. Timple is fun. And Timple reminded me of Timmy Trumpet. And Peter has done a dance to Freaks by Timmy Trumpet. A really beautiful, once again, evoking emotion that we just didn't know was possible from that dance track, which has amassed 403 million streams on Spotify. And that's about to be doubled because of Peter Timple's incredible, moving dance to Freaks. What is wrong with me? Next, I'd love to thank from McLeod in Victoria, Jessie Edwards. Another Jess. This one's a Jessie. So hopefully, you probably don't get called Jessica because that's simply not your name. Jessie McCartney is who you've chosen to dance to. Did you choose to go for Beautiful Soul? Absolutely not. Too easy. You've gone for Leavin', his second most popular, and that one coming out, I think, 2008. And Prince Charles, 7 out of 10. Just because he was like, I heard Jessie McCartney, I thought it'd be Beautiful Soul. I love that song. So really, that's just Prince Charles being petty. But a beautiful moving piece. Thank you, Jessie Edwards. We'd also love to thank from Matitsi in Wyoming in the United States, Futon. Futon, you have done a dance to, now Missy Higgins has a song called Futon Couch. but you've gone for a different Missy Higgins song. You've chosen to dance to The Special 2, a beautiful, very moving, kind of slow piece. So you've really you've gone for more of like an interpretive ballet performance, and it has paid off. It was a risky move. Everyone was like, I don't know, but it was gorgeous. Prince Charles gave it 10 out of 10. Congratulations. From Newton in South Australia, Troy Partridge. Now, Partridge, obviously, Partridge Family. No, you've chosen to go for the Monkees. And you are dancing to I'm a Believer. Yeah, let's go I'm a Believer. I was going to go Me and Magdalena, but we're going to go with I'm a Believer, and but the Shrek version. So it's pretty current and cool. And Prince Charles hasn't seen Shrek, gives you 2 out of 10. I think unfair, Troy. I think it's unfair, but you know, who am I to disagree with the monarch? And finally, I would love to thank from St Albans in Great Britain, David Eames. David Eames, you have chosen to dance to a song called Emerald from Hope D. It's a good song. It's a new song, probably the newest one, most recent track that anybody has chosen. So Prince Charles definitely hasn't heard of it, but he was like, what's this? I actually quite like this. And he's given you 5 out of 10. Your dancing was a bit shit, but he liked the music, and you just had a certain, how do you say, je ne sais quoi. So thank you so much, David, Troy, Futon, Jesse, Peter, Alex, Michael, Rebecca, and Kate. And finally, something I forgot to check before I started recording is, yes, there's a few people to welcome into the Triptych Club. Now, these are people who have supported us for 3 consecutive years, which is just incredible. We appreciate you so much. And when you do enter the Triptych Club, you are welcomed in with great fanfare. There's cocktails, there's food. It's essentially like a very exclusive, I like to think of it as like an airport lounge. Like, it has everything you could possibly need. We've got like fancy bathrooms if you want to have a shower. There's a day spa. There's beds for snoozing. And yeah, we've got food specials. We book a band. Obviously, I've just mentioned so many bands. Too many bands. Why did I mention so many freaking bands? So usually you'll have Matt at the door. He's lifting the velvet rope. He's letting you in. I'm at the bar. I'm making cocktails this week. We are having... What are we having? Come on, Jess. I tell you what, we're not turning the ovens on. We're not turning any heaters on or anything, just as an homage to the royals and their 6-week holiday. So everything is cold. We're having gazpacho and cold drinks, of course. And in a bit of an exciting twist, I have booked every single artist. It's a bit of a, honestly, I've outdone myself because Dave's always the one who books the bands and he books like one band. I've booked every band or artist that has, that appears on the soundtrack for the Princess Diaries. So we're talking Michelle Branch, we're talking Avril Lavigne, Hilary Duff, Natasha Bedingfield, Lindsay frickin' Lohan. Why is that on there? That's not in that playlist. Anyway, and Sixpence None the Richer. So it's going to be a pretty frickin' sick time. Okay, get ready to enjoy some nostalgia. Obviously, that also links back to previous topic, Julie Andrews. So it's just an all-round good time. All right, so I would love to welcome in without further ado. And look, I'll do my best to sort of hype you up as I go. I'm no Dave Warnocky. As much as Matt Stewart just doesn't seem to get Dave's style. I get it, but I'm just not as good at it. So I'll just do my very best. And I would love to welcome into the Triptych Club from San Diego in California, Todd. Sandy, hey-o to you, Todd. Welcome. Take a seat. Just chill out. Enjoy yourself. That wasn't too bad. San Diego is pretty funny. From Edinburgh in Scotland, I would love to welcome into the Triptych Club, Kia. And Kia! That's me doing a karate chop and getting rid of that velvet rope. I'm karate chopping the velvet rope. I'm saying, we don't need this anymore. Let's get rid of it. Get you in. Thank you so much. And I'd also finally love to welcome in from Masham. Oh, that's fun. In Great Britain, Stefan Headley, and I've got a few different really fun songs to go together. Can I mash 'em? Stefan can. Yes, absolutely. You know what? Like, I did my best. So thank you so much, Stefan, Kia, Todd, and welcome to the Triptych Club. Congratulations on making it 3 years. You cannot leave the club now, and I will not apologise for that. Thank you so much, you absolute legends, and everybody else that we've shouted out today and for supporting us. There's never any pressure from us to contribute financially to the Patreon. We appreciate so much those of you who, can give $1, $2, $10, whatever. It's really, really greatly appreciated. If you are not in a position to do that, that is absolutely fine. Post about the podcast on Instagram. Tell some friends about it next time you're catching up for dinner. Just getting the word out actually is absolutely huge and helps us a lot. And that's how a lot of people have found our podcast. So feel free to just spread the word. That would mean the absolute world to us. Okay, well, that brings us to the end then. I think I've covered everything I needed to do. I didn't get quite as puffed, so that's something. And we will all be back together again very, very soon. And by we will all, I don't mean every single one of you listening. And us, I mean Matt, Dave, and I are all going to be back together again soon. And then we'll probably have some guests because I think I'm going away on holiday. Don't, let me have a frickin' holiday. I just assumed you immediately got upset at me. But yeah, we'll all be back together again soon. Got some great stuff coming up later in the year. And look, we just bloody love ya. So if you want to suggest a topic, you can absolutely do that over on our website. There's a link in the show notes as well. And until next time, I will say thank you and goodbye. Laters. Bye.